All right, everybody. Welcome to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are always welcome here. I'm host and most Will Buchanan. Of course, the man to my bottom, your top, depending on how your monitor's flipped, who usually has something different every week. I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Well, unlike the Justice League, I can survive antimatter. I'm Joe Tonello.
You would go straight to the antimatter. You
Well,
would.
I mean, it was either that or touching people because of sadness is Joe Tonello. Or what was the third one I can do? Watching episode 5, I can now inflict maximum emotional damage.
Oh Lord! With that being said, we do have a special guest with us this week. This man needs no introduction as far as I'm concerned, because all he's got to do is walk out in the cosplay, and you know exactly who he is. Not just from the famous Black He-Man. He has had multiple cosplays. Has been in multiple cons, and as you can tell, a very, very knowledgeable person of many fandoms. I do want to welcome, as you can tell from the background, because I'm jealous of the background that he has right now. But I do want to welcome Demetrius, also known as Hellspawn Cosplay on Instagram. Welcome to Give It Podcast, sir. How are you doing tonight? Uh-oh, did he freeze? Uh-oh. I think he might have froze. We'll give him a second. I think he might have froze. He might have froze. But as we're trying to connect back with him, like I said before, Joe, as he's already started, how can I put this ever so nicely, Joe? Since you've already went into antimatter and kind of messed me up on the flow of how this is going to go this evening.
That's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault, but he might be trying to get back in. But we'll give Demetrius a second to see what's going on with that. But anyway, as we're waiting for him, I did want to go ahead and go a little bit into the news. I was going to wait for him a little bit, but I think we could talk about some stuff. Most importantly, Joe, as we're waiting for Demetrius to come back, I got to know, as far as Elden Ring, how far did you get?
I have now farmed to the point where I'm a level 108. I found that one farming spot I shared with you.
Oh, and kick yourself up a notch?
Actually, I kicked myself up quite a bit.
Actually, I don't know what level I'm at by now. All I know is I got to a room with a wolf that literally could fire ice and fire magic, and that was a pain in the butt to fight.
Oh, is it a giant red one?
Yes.
Oh, you're in the school. You found her husband.
I found who?
You found her husband. It's Elden Ring. That sentence makes perfect sense to anybody watching this.
I just thought about that. I was like, you know what? I'm not mad about that.
She caught him, according to the lore, she caught him cheating and has magically turned him into a wolf. He is literally in the doghouse.
Literally and figuratively, but he was a pain in the butt to fight. Lord, he was a pain in the butt to fight.
Oh, you don't have the mimic tier yet, do you?
No, I've kind of been hard-headed meleeing because a lot of people looked online. I was playing. They were like, "Why don't you have this at this point?" I was like,
"So, let me think. What have I done? I have actually gone through and done all of Ronnie's quest. I've acquired the Meteor Scepter. I'm still Moonveil Katana, but like now my dexterity and my intellect is around 45, 46.
Nice.
So what I've been doing now is cheesing out bosses by summoning my Mimic tier, doing my Whiz Fix where I have the null damage shield and the regen.
Mm-hmm.
Drink a potion, let the Mimic, because the Mimic mimics everything you have.
Yeah.
Moves, weapons, stats, everything. So I let him do that. So then I just sit there from range and continuously cast Stone Throw, which gets boosted because it's a gravity magic, because the Meteor Scepter boosts gravity magic.
Right.
So I've just been like cheesing out bosses and dragons left and right, with the exception of the super Crimson Rot dragon that sits in front of the Dragon Incantation Temple.
I saw that, but then again, I ran into a blue dragon by accident.
Oh, that's the glint dragon. I cheesed him out the other night. All I did was like stone, 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 hide in the church. Stone, 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 hide in the church.
Oh, I did Leroy Jenkins.
You need more dots?
I ran in. I didn't think about it. I thought it was because the first statue, the sacrifice statue, I thought it was just a statue. So I casually walked up to it and thought it was fine. And then next thing I know, red bar appears at the bottom.
There are a couple dragons that I have fought that midway through the fight just take off.
This one didn't.
Like
This
they
one,
are named dragons,
yeah.
like first and last name dragons, where midway through the fight they're at half health and they just peace out on me. You trying to get back on?
Yeah, I'm checking with him now. Because that's what I was checking on. I was seeing if he's going to come back. But yeah, he's trying now. I was like, but yeah, I was thinking about that because I was thinking about that for Elden Ring. I was like, why did I keep running into major enemies? Like, I went into the castle and no one told me. No one sat there and told me, hey, if you go into the castle, you're going to run into the first hard boss. And all I got was a cutscene, and then I get the first felt. And he literally wiped me out in one shot. I kind of wish I recorded it. It was a disrespectful one shot.
Wait, which one? Godric?
Yes.
I still haven't found Godric. I got through, what was the last one? I got through Estelle, the Newborn Void.
Yeah. I haven't got to that one yet. I've only gotten to.
So that's the one where you actually do need to seek out the meteor staff and use your mimic tier, because you cannot fight it head on because it does have a one hit kill no matter what.
So say it one more time. I was talking to for a second. Say it one more time.
It does. You do need the meteor staff and do sorcery. Because Estelle the Newborn Void actually does have a one hit kill.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know now because
Let me think who have I killed. I've killed Radon of the Falling Star. The dude with the tiny horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, him I made fall to his own death.
Wait, off the cliff edge? How'd you pull that off?
So you go up the little crevice. There's a little crevice. You can jump to the left. Get off the horse, climb onto the branch.
Okay.
He will come up for you just through magical jumping. And then when you go through to the lower part of the branch, he will jump after you, miss, and just fall to his own death.
I'm not mad about that strategy, but
I didn't know face for Dawn. I just wanted to get that fight over with.
I haven't. I actually have not. Actually, I thought about using a god the other day because I was like,
no, you kind of need to right now. I don't think anybody at this point. No one's gonna make fun of you, and this is not the good game because eventually it just is. It's Mega Man. It's classic Mega Man of pattern memorization.
Yeah.
Like I had a magma worm just come out of the swamp. It's like, oh, I fought you before. Yeah, you're not touching me this time.
Yeah, that's what made me play Metroid. I actually did wind up playing Metroid Dread, and I was like, I see why people like it now, and I'm kind of mad because it was kind of short. I'm mad it was kind of short, but at the same time, I see why people liked it. It was actually pretty good. I guess the only game I got to get to now is Final Fantasy, but that's a Stranger of Paradise, and it's different. It is very different.
So I hear something about chaos.
I was hoping. I'm not gonna lie to you. I played the demo because apparently your actual your actual stats from your demo will carry over into the actual game, which is a first for me. I've never heard about that, but that's all he says. I kind of want to. It's like, you ever just want to mute a game? It's like, if the only line this character knows is "I am Groot" and you're not a lovable tree, what's the point? It almost makes you not want to play. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I'm doing Relayer right now too on the side on the YouTube. And so far we're pretty much on par for generic Gundam. I just got to the point where she meets the other girls. The other girls welcome her, but she's also in the simulator and they want to kick her ass.
Ah, nice.
Ah, there
There he
we go.
is.
Okay,
All right.
fellas, can you hear me?
Yep, you coming in loud and clear,
We
Demetrius. You're
can.
good.
All right. I don't know. StreamYard and I have never had the best relationship, so I don't know what's been happening. But anyways, so what am I missing? I'm just not catching up on.
Oh no, we were just
Elden
we were just
Ring,
talking.
Relayer, Metroid Dread.
Yeah, it's just the adventure. It's just the misadventures of playing a Dark Souls light game. And I was asking Joe where he was at in it because I have blissfully blundered my way into higher ranking enemies, and thankfully, thanks to network play where people can play with you, it's like at this level you're not supposed to be fighting this guy, right? And I can't help but want to just scream Leroy Jenkins in my head, like that's the
And this
reason
is
why
my
I have
first.
you.
And this is my first time playing a Souls game, and apparently I'm rather well adjusted and adequate at playing this type of game.
That's why you need to go play Dark Souls. You need to go play Dark Souls. You need to play Dark Souls, not Dark Souls 2. Play the first one and then see if
Okay,
you're
so question: are we talking Demon Souls or Dark Souls?
no Dark Souls. Demon Souls will drive you nuts. I'm trying to put you on deep because Demon Souls will drive you nuts. Dark Souls is a little bit more appropriate. But anyway, I didn't want to finish my intro because again, like Demetrius, I get Demetrius. StreamYard hates. Well, trust me, the way StreamYard hates you, Zoom doesn't really like me, so I guess I can understand that. But I did want to give you your intro because again, dude, I think like you are to me one of the premier cosplayers out there as far as not only taking with your craft but also representation. As I say a lot, representation does matter, and the fact that between you and your son and just seeing just seeing how he interacts is to me is the cutest thing I can see as you being a father. So I definitely wanted to give you that intro as far as calling you Black He-Man, but usually as it is on this show, we do allow our guests to get kind of tell them about themselves, what they're about and things of that nature. So if you want to right now, you can, or we can do that later if you like.
I'll get it out of the way. Okay, so my name is Demetrius Holt. I'm a 38-year-old electrician out of the Baltimore area, Maryland. I've been cosplaying since 2017. Before that, I was an amateur bodybuilder. I won a few competitions on the NPC in the circuit, NPC circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, if you're just listening to this and not watching it, I've been collecting action figures and like comics and stuff since I was like 4 years old. My parents cultivated that entire thing. My dad, like both my parents are Air Force or they're retired Air Force. So, my dad was overseas sending me like VHSs of Robotech and what we were watching back then. Yeah, between Robotech, He-Man, Brave Star, and like stuff like that. Like if you're a child of 80s, huh?
So we'll get along great. You'll get all my references.
Yeah, if you're a child of the 80s, then there's some gems. There's some original gems there. Nothing that was like so derivative that came in like
and
the
then
90s
I'll throw some holograms.
Yeah, there's that too.
See, there we go. He gets it.
Totally radical. But yeah, like I fell into cosplay thinking that it was just something for me to do. I didn't know there was a whole community. And when I got introduced to everyone and everything, I realized that there's a lot of different sorts of people out here. It's like a culture shock and trying to adjust and learn that that people are just going to be who they are going to be, and you just have to like kind of tiptoe around them a little bit without being a bull in a china shop. It takes growth, it takes time, but if you have the want and the drive to be better, then you're going to be better. And so that's where I'm at with that. As far as the representation side of things, yeah, I did not plan on having a platform for cosplay. I did not think that, like, again, I didn't think there was a platform for cosplay to do anything other than just go to conventions and just like cut a fool. But Um, when I did the He-Man cosplay in 2018 of October at Baltimore Comic Con, it kind of changed my entire cosplay experience, like
Mm-hmm.
almost overnight. And between Reddit and Twitter and you know people just sharing photos and then they kind of like propped me up on this pedestal that I didn't know. I just didn't know how to handle it. Well, there was nothing to handle. It was just like, oh, all of a sudden I got damn near 10,000 followers on Instagram and people expected me to have a voice and things. And, what are you going to do now that taking all these
Right.
pictures and shit like that? So, you know, um, I got to say that, once again, Black Panther has that kind of influence on people where, if you were looking at a group of kids playing in front of a one sheet at a movie theater and they're saying that's me right there, no, that's me right there, and you're thinking, damn, when the last time I seen a bunch of black folks on a movie poster and people were like that's me or that's me, it was like New Jack City.
Right.
you
You're right.
like
You're right. You're right.
yeah, like that's
Yeah.
not positive, black influences, or was it Boomerang? Like, what I mean? It's just like, damn, like that's so, somehow, like somewhere I came up with the proliferation of minorities within mainstream media being a platform
Mm-hmm.
where, you have more black and more brown faces and just have, you know, more to look up to than just the standard depiction of what it looks like to be black or what's look like to be brown in Hollywood. So, I've just been plugging along, and my friend Richard, who is my man at arms, and
Mm-hmm.
that we did this whole like cosplay group thing at BlurredCon in 2019. You know, people really took to that. There was a
Mm-hmm.
couple of like fan artists, or there was a couple of artists that did some fan art of us, and first thing that came out of Richard's mouth is like, we should do like a children's book,
Yep.
and we should, do something to let the kids know this, that, and the third. And I didn't think that was going to be a thing, but then I got a letter from a child and his mom telling me about how they were playing with my Funko Pop and another non-melanated white child, or non-melanated white child. It's,
we got what you mean. We got what you mean.
I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible. Anyways, a little white boy came up to him and said, "That's not a real He-Man because he doesn't look like me." And it immediately pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we came across the idea to come up with like PSAs the way that they did in the original He-Man series, and we just wanted to let the kids know that their black heroes do exist. That we're not just static. We're not just
Black
uh
Lightning or your
or
usual.
Icon. But see,
Mhm.
I can't even say Icon because they don't, because you only seen Icon in what Young Justice like maybe twice.
Right.
So yeah, there are so many of us out there that kids don't know that we exist. I mean, right now Young Justice has Rocket front and center, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's
But
debatable with this season right now, but there's a reason for that. We'll get into that in a bit.
okay, okay, because I have not seen the latest episode. I'm caught up all the way up until last night, which I should have
I
watched
mean,
this.
last week's episode was really more a secret Green Lantern, the animated series wrap up thing,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I
'Cause
dug.
I was like, I remember him. Razor or whatever the fuck his name is. I'm like, damn, like, but they animated him completely differently. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, red and blue, I like it. Was that
Which
purple?
technically doesn't work according to the Green Lantern lore, but that's fine.
Need to Godstorm against another situation. But anyway,
Yeah.
um,
So yeah. I we did the PSA thing or we did the Kickstarter thing for the PSAs. We asked for $1,000 just to get one 30-second PSA made, and we ended up with $20,000. And
nice.
so with that, we're doing 5 PSAs. I've written a script for all 5 of them. Some of them being tweaked because they
You
hit
gotta.
on some really really difficult subjects,
Mhm.
like interactions with the police. So that has to be like tweaked to a degree.
Mhm.
Um, and I've gotten a blessing from a few of the writers over at the Masters of the Universe Netflix series, who looked over the things, and they like what we're doing. And I'm waiting on Mattel to tell me yay or nay of whether or not they want to work with us when it comes to promoting the PSAs and then actually having their backing when I go to like conventions or whatnot. So, there's something that they've never really done before. Have like a like paid agents, or boots on the ground for them. So we'll see what happens.
This is why I want to be you when I grow up. This is why I sit there and say, and the reason why, because usually I do a little bit of research, and I have my nephews around me, and I was looking over your Instagram, and they sat there, and I saw their eyes light up, and they're like, "Who's this? And who's this? And who's this?" As you're showing off He-Man, you're showing off Spawn, you're showing off all these multiple things you got out there, and like you said, it's the whole thing about representation mattering, and I'm like I got 3 little nephews of my own. And they see that makes me smile, especially, and not to mention, you have your own Funko. You literally could walk on to a Masters of the Universe set right now, and nobody blinks an eye. You would probably get the part, honestly, because they really do that movie. But anyway,
all right, so why are you doing Silverhawks, and why are you betraying Steel Will?
Listen. My Hawkman is a precursor to something. I just need to find more prehensile like wings. But there's a reason why Hawkman was on the list. No.
I want you to do Silverhawks.
I know. I know. I don't know.
Just so we do not get around the one Silverhawk we don't talk about.
Well, there's that, but then I was always a fan of bluegrass. I don't know.
See, I was always the twins.
Okay.
Like I was always the twins because, I mean, Steelheart, she was there. We liked the reasons. And then Steel Will was just like, this guy looks like he'll just be fun to hang with.
Oh, Steelheart was
man. Like, see, I used to watch Silverhawks, and like, if you look at the PSAs, there's a callback to it, like in the very intro. Like it might be an owl, but it's Tallyhawk. I mean,
thank God,
yeah.
Like we're definitely like fans and students of the '80s, but I don't know, man. I just can't give over the fact that the villain was a Moonstar or something was too much like
Moonstar.
Yeah.
I still have the figure broken somewhere in this room.
I just couldn't. The whole octopus and the mummification thing just didn't. It didn't jive with me. No.
Well, I mean, we could talk about tiger sharks.
We will not talk about tiger sharks. We will not do that tonight.
Oh God!
I forgot about tiger sharks. Oh Lord. Well, thank you for that. But yeah, we're gonna go into, because like I said before, I just like to see positive cosplay with your platform and what you got going on, dude. All I can say is I am in awe. I am in awe of everything that you're doing, and now you have three young children over here that are like, I want to do what he does. So now I have to pony up and cosplay along with them because we actually have a Nashville Comic Con coming up soon.
So I'll see you next week at Free Comic Day, right?
You really would throw me under the bus.
Oh, absolutely.
You would throw me under the bus on that. Oh, we're gonna be there anyway because the guys at Rick's Comic City kind of wrote me into it. But that's a whole other story. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the little bit of news that we have. Very quickly,
little bit of news, man. You're generous.
I'm not. Nope. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Nope. With that being said, because I know because me and Joey do have some news, but I want to go through these 3 stories really quickly before we get to our television reviews. I did actually want to initially talk about, how do y'all feel about Terry Crews having a role in the next Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie?
So he is not in the movie.
What?
He is a part of the Disney exclusive Guardians of the Galaxy ride happening in Disney World.
Okay, good.
I am so mad that Comic-Con messed this up.
No. Well, you got to think of the source here. The headline is just to bring you in. I hate that. Yeah,
that suckers me because I was like, oh, well, he's actually going to be, because he was pretending like he's going to be Centurion. I was like, oh, so he's going to be Tal Mark of the Star Charter. I'm like, oh, they're bringing because in my mind, me and a friend of mine, we have this love for Nova,
Okay.
and we keep hoping that Nova is going to make an appearance. And I would think because this is James Gunn's last run with Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU, maybe Nova makes an appearance.
Do I have to
Maybe
go
he
get my
doesn't.
Nova helmet and put it on now?
Well,
You got it.
you hear rumors and with Kevin Feige coming out and saying that they've already got the next 10 years planned out. You
Right.
have to imagine that with the three branches of the MCU that they're working on, between the cosmic and then the the supernatural and the street level stuff, it's got to be there. It has to
Makes
be
sense.
there.
I hope
Annihilation
so.
has to happen at some point.
I would like to hope so, but then again, I would just see Terry Crews actually as Talon Mark in the movie. That would be interesting. But really quickly on this one, this comes as no surprise. Sony is already moving forward with sequels for Ghostbusters Afterlife and for Venom, considering the fact that Venom Let There Be Carnage did okay by movie gross standards. There were a lot of issues with the movie. I'll be the first one to say it. There were a lot of issues with Let There Be Carnage. But they
Yeah.
are moving. But they are moving forward. I'm sorry. What do you say, Demetrius?
Oh no, yeah, there were issues with it, like it being a movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there
still
were.
say there was 30 minutes cut from that movie, and it should have been rated R.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll argue that. But
and no
with Sony,
voiceover.
but let's think about with Sony. Sony wants to outdo Marvel. Now, don't get me wrong. Venom 3, it might be better, but I'm a little worried about Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I'm not.
The reason why I say that is because to me, Ghostbusters Afterlife was like a love letter to us who grew up on the Ivan Reitman directed ones. So no offense to his son, who also did direct Afterlife. Um, I'm just not sure where it goes from here.
Uh,
If you do remember, let's be honest. If you do remember at the cutscene, we know Winston goes back and gets the firehouse. He brings Ecto One back in. But are we saying now that business is back to booming in New York, or is it still back out in the middle of that small town where I forgot the name of that ghost
John,
already. Thank you. Is held up. So that's why I say it's a lot. Like I said, I'm not saying it can't work, but to me, I'm just like, you have a great movie in Afterlife. I almost kind of halfway want to leave it at that. But what do you guys think?
you have Winston make Ghostbusters Incorporated and have them franchise out to cities.
So
You
you
make
basically do
Five
Ghostbusters.
happen in Chicago.
So you would have the new Ghostbusters in a different telling.
Yes and no. You would have Phoebe and her brother come in and like Phoebe do equipment consultation, maybe as a teenager or a young adult, and it'd be in Chicago or New York.
Well,
I
that's what.
believe we're looking at doing the rehash of Vigo the
Yeah,
Carpathian.
there was the mention of Vigo, and what's that guy who said it's Vigo? He was also on Ally McBeal. I can't think of his name.
And
Uh, he was on
that
the
or you take
Snapper. He
from the
was on a lot of
comic
shows.
books. Like the comic books have plenty of material you can go from.
But that's the thing, though. It's like you're kind of. Don't get me wrong. Afterlife had a solid script, but now that you're basing it off from Afterlife and moving forward, that becomes a dice roll at that point. Now,
Well,
I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm worried.
there's two villains from the real Ghostbusters you could do that would absolutely sell me on Afterlife. And that is the Boogeyman and
I can see that.
Samhain.
I can see that. But again, like you said, if they do go into comics, like you said, there is plenty of source material. But like I said, I'm worried. But Demetrius,
Now,
what about you? What's your opinion on it?
I did not see Afterlife because it got spoiled for me as far as
Oh, and we
how
just sat there. We just sat there and
no
said,
no 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 as far as like the team coming back and the guy who was
"Oh,
that part. I was like, you know what, the fuck do I want to even see this for? So I didn't see it, but to be honest with you, I played the game. I played the
mhm.
Ghostbusters game, and that was good enough for me. That was enough for me. And then like uh the cartoon that came out in like what 96 or something like that. That was
Yeah.
great. That was a great
Extreme
succession.
Ghostbusters.
Extreme Ghostbusters, yeah.
Yeah, she goes on
Mm,
because he
okay.
got the proton pack.
Yeah, and I got Kylie over there just still in her box over there.
I got the
So
full size Extreme Ghostbuster proton pack.
see, those were not the accessories that I took on. You know, I got claws and visors and such.
I got a bad lower back because of it.
If you want to have a nerd off, I can keep up. I'm not sure if I can match
No,
you.
you can most definitely keep up. The only thing I think I outdo you on is Japanese stuff.
Uh-oh. I feel like this is
I mean, I don't know. Like my Guyver sitting over there looks pretty good just to match. Yeah, okay.
you know what?
Okay,
I'm so glad
as
this
for
happened.
Venom 3, I honest to God do not know who they would use for Venom 3. Because I really feel like they cannot do Toxin right off the bat because that's
a little bit of a stretch.
You can't do Toxin without having Carnage back. It is way, way too soon to suddenly bring in the King in Black storyline.
Yep.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
You know, they would try to do that simply because it was a No Way Home. It was in that post credit scene. They kind of mentioned the fact that they were like a hive mind to a degree. So
yeah, he mentioned at the end of Let There Be Carnage where he talked about it before the mysterious spell happened. Yeah, but he talks about this being hive mind.
Sony just does not care. They don't care about anything when it comes to that Spider-Man property to the point where they just want to throw it at the screen and see what happens.
Unless he's Miles Morales, then they care.
But that's the thing, though. Well, that they're being very careful considering that's Into the Spider-Verse did get pushed back, and I think the third movie's being called Beyond the Spider-Verse now.
Yeah, so it's Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So they are being very careful, and that actually was one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. Was Into the Spider-Verse? So
that is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
But let's be honest, Sony has Marvel jealousy. Sony tried. I mean, don't get me wrong. Amazing Spider-Man was great. I hope Andrew Garfield does get his third movie. He deserves it because I thought he was great as Spider-Man. Even Tobey Maguire was great as Spider-Man. But Sony, they want that Marvel success. But the problem is they don't have the script writing for it. So that's always been the problem. It's always come down to the script.
And also the choice in who they select as far as like directors.
Yeah.
Because, they've got like jobbers. They don't have anybody of like real note to come through to, really do anything over there.
Yeah. I mean, they took a guy. It's always funny. Like they were talking about Morbius failing. I'm like, you got a guy whose first movie was a period piece for his film school, and you put a possible catalyst for your own cinematic universe in the hands of a rookie. That's brave, but it's a hit or miss. But I'm not surprised by that. But the third piece of news I got, because I can finally say this because me and Joe talked about this in our Facebook post. Not surprised about this at all. I sat there and called this 2 seasons ago. How it got to 3 seasons is beyond me. But Batwoman has finally been axed at the CW. The showrunner.
The old college try.
Oh, they gave the old college try 3 times. But you've heard that, Joe. You've heard my song and dance on that. But Carolyn Dries, who was the showrunner for Batwoman, she took over after season 2. As the one saying, quote unquote, just got the sad news that hashtag Batwoman will not be seeing season 4. I am bummed but full of gratitude. We made it on maybe 51 episodes. Thank you, fans. We love you. And now, Demetrius, you've never heard my ranting about Batwoman. You've never heard it, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I love the Ryan Wilder character. I thought Ruby Rose was okay. Her playing Kate Kane, I was like, and then the whole thing with Alice, and then trying to make it really a pseudo Batman by literally doing copies of his rogue gallery and not going differently. It was honestly a flaming ship. It was actually a burn. It was actually a wreck from takeoff.
I watched that first season and I'm thinking like, yo, you have so many years of TV history that you could like just not do, and you're doing it. Like like Mantis was a better show than this.
Right.
What the fuck? You know what? Darkman was a better show than this, or Nightman. Excuse me,
Nightman.
Nightman was a
to be
better show
fair,
than this.
to be fair,
Nightman.
to be fair,
He ain't
Black
wrong
Scorpion
though.
was a better show
He's
than
not
this.
wrong. I'm sorry, Joe. What are you saying?
I said, to be fair, Black Scorpion was a better show than this. Cleopatra 2033
Was a
was
better show
It
than
was a better show.
you know, and like there's see, and I am not saying that they shit the bed, but you know, like they just didn't put the work into just making even the original K King unique.
Yeah.
You know, let alone a melanated derivative of her. Like I just was nowhere near interested. Like, and then honestly, anything DC related, anything DC TV related, I just shut down on unless it was Stargirl or Superman and Lois, and I just shut down on the Flash.
So let's ask you, how do you feel about Naomi, so we can get that out of the way?
Yeah, I tried that shit. I'm sorry. Are we cussing? I tried it.
can.
Go ahead.
No, we can, because will tell you I will be petty as shit about this.
Yes, he will.
Listen.
Feel free.
I got because I give shows 4 episodes before I check out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's enough time for them to hook me or not to. Because like I was telling you earlier, I was watching Ranking of Kings, and it hooked me on episode 3. You know, when I saw one of the fights, like the first real fight that they had, I'm like, oh, you know, this animation is kind of deceptive because, or at least the art style is deceptive, but the animation is A1. Yeah. All right, I like it. Okay, I'm invested, and then things started kicking off from there. But yeah, as far as Naomi goes, like we spent so many episodes trying to establish that she was special, but then yet didn't say that she was special. And then when they did say that she was special, she wasn't special at all because you know she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. And then we got this dry ass angel, or you know, he's a Thanagarian. We got this dry ass Thanagarian that didn't have any kind of real personality, which he could have had like the best personality, but he didn't. You know, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And then I actually didn't know who Naomi was before I started watching the show. So 4 or 5 episodes in, I started Googling. I'm like, she's supposed to be dope. What are we doing? Like, I stopped.
He's the third co-host.
So then that's when I went to I went back to Stargirl because I didn't realize Stargirl's 2nd season had already came out, or like the summer school. Yeah, and that was great. Like those kids were getting busy.
Yeah, it was that was dark, and I loved it. That's the reason I was saying about real about Naomi. I'm like, yeah, I tried. I gave it a college try.
Naomi is just like it is in the comics. If you give her to another writer, she's going to be fantastic. Do not let Brian Michael Bendis write his own characters once he creates them.
I was really disappointed because this was Ava DuVernay that was creating the show. That's all I was like, really, for an award-winning filmmaker, this comes out.
But listen, not everyone is good in every medium. It doesn't matter if it's movie or TV. Like they just like Ava just might not be able to do long form storytelling. Give her 2 hours and she's good. Give her 15 episodes.
I was gonna say it's like Zack Snyder, so I guess you got a point. he can do some movies. He can't do all. He can do a great 300, but yeah.
He's a good visual storyteller, but he's a poor narrative storyteller.
Yeah. But yeah, Naomi really wasn't that good this week. I tried. I mean, the one thing Demetrius I try to do, I am literally watching just for every week. I'm like, every week it's like watching that one kid that goes to Little League and every pitch he strikes out. You're sitting there rooting for him. You're trying to encourage him.
Well, at this point, you're just Stewart from the Mad TV episode on T-Ball.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. That's
Stewart
pretty much what it is.
The world.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is the CW, so expect more drama than story, and that's a sad part. You think for an action-based series, it would have more action than drama, but that seems to be going that route.
But see, that also lets you know that they really didn't give Ava all of the resources that they could have, because if they trusted Ava with like some money, then Naomi would have HBO Max money.
Yeah,
you know, because look at Stargirl. Those kids, I mean, I don't know who their fight choreographer is. It's probably the same people that was like on Arrow, like the first 2 seasons of Arrow.
Yeah.
But they're doing pretty damn good, especially in the special effects area. And then like Superman and Lois, it's a story heavy, it's a story driven drama, but you're engaged because it has so much comic stuff, laden throughout.
The quality of the show is just it's superior. I'm being honest with Superman Lois. It really is, as far as story and everything else, really superior to everything else. But I'm sorry, what are you gonna say, Joe?
I was gonna say, in the thing of Stargirl, they also had the added bonus of the two executive producers are Jeff Johns and James Robinson. Jeff Johns created Stargirl, wrote JSA, wrote Stargirl.
Mm-hmm.
James Robinson wrote still one of the greatest comic books ever created, the Jack Knight era of Starman.
Mm-hmm.
They're the executive producers of that show. They know the Starman and Stargirl mythology inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
But they went so dark on season 2. It went so dark. I was saying, me and Joe, when season 2 was premiering and we were going to the episodes, I was like, this is so dark, but I'm not mad about it at all.
You can't be.
Especially they were not afraid to go 1950s, where I forgot the girl's name that had Dr. Midnight's goggles. You're the wrong color to be wearing those goggles.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Damn.
Oh, I remember that episode. So we opened up with so Clip says racist.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable.
He's like, you're the wrong color wearing those goggles. Like, God damn, okay.
But also they opened the season killing a kid. So
that is also
they kept killing kids in that series.
Kids got the body count on
Stargirls was killing kids.
The body count on Stargirls was ridiculous. But I'm surprised though, because again with CW only, because I think the only renewals from CW we have so far is Superman and Lois, and there was another one I completely forgot about. But Stargirl has yet to be announced for renewal, which me and Joe at this point were like, if you're not going to put on CW, put on HBO Max. At least because we've seen Doom Patrol do well, Titans have done well. Stargirl could easily fit into HBO Max and still continue.
We're getting a Wonder Twin series on HBO Max, for God's sakes.
And also a green light Guardian Corps if it ever does come to fruition. But
yeah, don't get me started on that thing.
But with that being said, though, we are going to move to Flash because, again, I know I'm probably going to be the only person in the room, aside from Joe, because you said you watched the most recent episode and saw Darkstorm. And it is a rehash of Blackest Night. But, again, it's to the point now I see why Season 9 of The Flash is going to be shortened.
Oh, yeah. I mean, instead of stealing hearts to power himself, we have to do the CW thing. He steals sadness.
Yes. Demetrius, I wish I could make that up.
Now, to be fair, because I've been watching way too much Letterkenny, so I'm going to be saying to be fair quite a bit. We do get to see the heart vision. So he does like actual rate. You do see his vision where he can see who has the most sadness.
Yeah.
He looks comic book accurate. He has comic book accurate abilities. We get to see Flash make himself his own platformer video game.
Oh,
and became Super Mario for a little bit.
I was kind of sad. That was it. And who got the low bit 5-minute heavy metal song that sounds like you got it from Adobe Cloud?
Oh, I was waiting for him to do the Mario triple jump sound effects.
I thought to myself the whole entire time. I love Flash. Don't get me wrong, but it has ran its course. I mean,
I'm sitting there looking at it. It's like, so this is the part where I hold L1 and press X.
Pretty much. You're triple jumping your way to a guy who's literally flying. Well, but again, I'm not surprised about the Flash. And again, the only thing that kills me about the Flash is, and I hate to say this, I'm just going to be completely honest. Why can't they just kill Iris off?
Because that's his heart. That's his compass.
But it's the albatross of the show. It's like okay, I'll put it this way. Like current season right now, she has a time sickness. And I'm like, why is it always something that has to be affiliated with her to tie her back into the show? It's almost like you're forcing her to be a part of a story that literally has nothing to do with her. So even now they have to, even now this time sickness arc, it's a separate story from Barry fighting Deathstorm. It's almost like somehow you have to fit her in somewhere, which I don't understand.
If she becomes any more of an albatross, I'm gonna want John Cleese to come into the room and yeah, I have a complaint.
Well, they
this
just
story is dead.
They just canceled Legends.
Oh, thank God.
So I stopped watching that. See, thing is, like, when the Flash, I think I was really checked out when it was the creation of like the lightsabers out of lightning last season, and I just had to stop. I was like, I'm done.
Well,
Which none of that made sense anyways, because like Barry's faster than Thawne, but Godspeed's faster than Barry, but Thawne could keep up with Godspeed and kills Godspeed.
Right.
Like in a triangle, that doesn't work.
Right.
Every comic book reader that was watching that episode just sat there, changed the channel, and decided to go watch something else. That was a change the channel moment to go watch something else. Because
it has jumped that shark.
That's where I'm just gonna go pick up my Flash book from my Flash section and go read Chain Lightning again.
Yeah, but Legends of Tomorrow, I'm glad that got canceled. It stopped being good. They only brought in Constantine for ratings, and after he left, it's like, okay, now you're back to, and it's pretty bad when the showrunner is like, well, it's a show really about these lesser known heroes, and we know nobody's not gonna take us seriously, so we're just kind of fun with it. No, you served us caca. You served us caca for nearly 4 seasons. Yes, it's time for you to go. Which lets me know that Warner Brothers Discovery is starting to axe off a whole lot of shows, and I am not complaining about Legends of Tomorrow. So, but I am worried about Stargirl though, because Stargirl, I think it's a great series. I hope it gets renewed, but as of right now, I'm concerned.
We do know there's a season 3, Frenemies.
Yeah,
we just don't know the launch date. But I have a feeling because this is being produced by Jeff Johnson, James Robinson, they're going to actually go the Jack route, and they have an end in mind, and they'll just end it.
I hope not, because Stargirl is actually pretty good. It is pretty good. But another show I want to ask you guys about, of course, before we get to Moon Knight, because that's a whole nother treasure trove in itself. But Superman and Lois. So I have to ask about Bizarro World. How did y'all feel about that episode?
I don't think I've seen that one yet. I'm sorry. I didn't know what the docket was. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I don't want to spoil it for you.
No, go ahead, because I don't want to hold up the show. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, okay. So what happens is, like most recent episode. Well, actually, it's kind of weird. So they kind of pick back up from the episode before last week. So Clark, of course, flies to the other side, trying to actually go after Allie and the two pair, and everyone else. Winds up in Bizarro's world is where he winds up at. So they kind of give this, opposite, of course, well, opposite, obviously, because of Bizarro. So they kind of show Bizarro's family, like how it impacts everybody, how the kids are always morally grounded. Clark trying to make sure not to, overuse his powers, but still be a dad. Make sure John and Jordan are cool. It is the complete opposite. It is like if Superman was a Kardashian. I'll put it that way. You're talking limousine riding, photo shoots. Finds out that in Bizarro's world, it's John that has powers and Jordan that doesn't. And John decides to do a retro Superboy punk rock look. I forgot from what series that's from.
No, it's just Superboy, the 90s Superboy.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. That's what I was trying to think about. But anyway, it's a whole thing of basically how their planet came to be, how the Alley from the other side was able to influence others and take over the government, and pretty much trying to make people whole. So, long story short, the pendant is put together. Both Alleys are now together. So I'm not sure they're going to call themselves Parasite yet. I think it's coming because that's basically who her character is Parasite. Clark actually goes back to his own world, follows the John from the other world, who basically wants to now merge with his son in his own planet because he now has the pendant. So it kind of sets up either a John versus Bizarro. It sets up a Jordan versus Bizarro John fight next episode, or it could be that Clark gets in the middle of it and tries to stop it. but it just kind of sets it up because Superman and Lois is about to eventually hit its season finale. So that's kind of the gist of the episode. But I like the fact that they kind of gave General Anderson his redemption story because he actually goes to the other side and realizes that Superman was right the entire time and actually tries to do a hero save, but gets probably the number 4 disrespectful ass whooping in comic books. I'll say number 4 because
number 1 is still John Walker in the Dora Milaje.
Yeah, John Walker Dora Milaje will always be number 1 in the most disrespectful ass whoopings in comic book history to me. But for Mitchell Anderson for former General Mitchell Anderson to get beat by Bizarro John, and I'm talking, it wasn't even it was like one of the worst clotheslines you will see this side of WWE, and caves his chest in, and it's like that's pretty much it. But no, that's the gist. But that's really the gist of it. I mean, it is a great episode, but it does set up to where Allie / Parasite will eventually enter Superman's world back on Earth Prime, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it all.
Okay.
But again, Superman and Lois, to me, it's one of those episodes to where it just doesn't miss. I mean, Superman's least popular episode could wind up being the Flash's best episode. That's about as a comparison I can make. Their worst episode would be the Flash's best episode. And that's how good the writing is to me. But Joe, did you see it? And if you did, what you think about it?
I was super confused by all the all the Kardashian stuff. I was just waiting for like the actual episode to kick off, and I was like, God, this cold open is going on for a long time.
Yeah, but it was kind of weird. I mean, you got to think Bizarro world, so everything's gonna be the complete opposite. You know, to see a Superman that's literally hopped up on X-Kryptonite because he's been using, versus a Superman that wouldn't touch it, and then you know. But the funny part was Lois remained the same. Actually, now that I think about that episode, Lois from Earth Prime didn't change in Bizarro's world. She did get cut.
She was just a universal constant.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But anyway, like I said, you're gonna love it, Demetrius, when you see it. But I did want to ask you about Moon Knight, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Are we spoiling Moon Knight?
The biggest spoiler that we can possibly give is this show teaches you how to inflict maximum emotional damage.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We can talk about it in full detail. It's been 2 days. We can talk about it in full detail. If anybody hasn't seen the 5th episode by now in a 6-episode series, I mean,
right. I can't help but to appreciate the fact that there was a never before seen flip in the abusive parent. You know what I mean? Like, like, okay, it's mom this time. Okay, you know, and to see when his DID, you know, was initially triggered, that kind of did like feels that oof, you know,
right.
That hit. I don't know, like this was the first time we saw an episode without him in the suit, and you know, it was fully driven by the character, and you know, by the end of it, you fell in love with both Steven and Mark, and you're pulling for Jake to show the fuck up and do what he needs to do.
He showed up for a little bit. We saw him.
Yeah, we saw him in the last episode. But you know, you're right. He did pick up the pyramid. You're right. But you know, you are emotionally invested in this character to the point now where, you know, when he shows up in like Midnight Suns, or if he shows up in anything else, whether it be Blade or whatever, we can fully rock and roll with this guy, and hopefully, you know, by the end of this series, you know, Moon Knight will be the only character that will be a team unto himself.
Yeah. Oh, I love the episode. What about you, Joe?
Oh no, I loved it. I love the fact that they're doing a giant homage to the Jeff Lemire run of Moon Knight. I'm very thankful they are leaving out the space jockey that is fighting the intergalactic space werewolves. That's going to be super hard to talk about in this series.
Very.
But even he in the comic is just like, yeah, you're too new of a personality. You're done. But like sticking to the episode in general, it is not really refreshing because honestly, it's more terrifying when it's your mother coming after you than your father.
So it's basically the Shining operation.
That's only because you've been inundated with that imagery for so long. Like you come to expect the father to be the bad
You
apple.
expected the father to be the catalyst and not the mother, right?
Yeah. But that's what it all makes it all the more terrifying because, honestly, I think the mother being that way is just like I said, there's just something about it that's just more terrifying.
Oh yeah, but the whole
yeah.
idea of where the DI of where Steven's identity came to be,
Yeah.
that's the part where I was like, oh, so this is where they're trying to say where Steven was actually born per se.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I can dig that. And this whole thing about his mom and just the dislocation, and then Bushmaster gets mentioned again. If Bushmaster does not show up in the final episode, I'm gonna be mad.
I doubt he will.
Yeah, that's something that you would say for like because I doubt that they would do that for this. If they're going to have another season, then they're probably going to go into like the Red Scarab type deal, and that's where Bushmaster would show up because the both Moon Knight and Red Scarab would have something to go up against together. Because he caused them most of the trauma, but. Honestly, I think what's going to happen in the 6th episode is probably going to be the reveal from the books that Khonshu was manipulating something. He's the one that was pushing something to happen for that DID to be created and for him to break him, so he'd be more pliable for him to get him as an adult.
Oh, but you're right. We already did see him, at death's door, and Khonshu's pretty much saying, "Look, do you want to live or do you want to die?"
Well, I mean. I think what it's pushing, and this is a reach, is he is pushing for the 3rd sarcophagus to be unlocked and get Jake.
And basically Jake out.
Because we've seen Jake twice, technically, in this series. And both times, or we don't see him, but we do see him. It is when episode 3, when Mark blacks out and everyone's dead, and he's asking Steven, what did you do? And that wasn't Steven that killed all those guys.
Right.
That was Jake.
But then it was also Jake that was in the 1st episode that asked for that date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jake has been there. He just happens to be that guy that does not need to take. He does not need permission to take control.
He's the 3rd personality that Khonshu wants. He doesn't want Mark. He definitely doesn't want Steven. He wants Jake.
But then that kind of suggests that Jake has more control than Steven and Mark combined at that point.
At that point, but now that we're in the scenario where we're in, we see that Jake is firmly locked away at this moment. Like, this is one of those, if these 2 idiots are going to get us killed, I have to take over.
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
but I gotta ask y'all this though, because I love the goddess Tuet, and it took me a while to pronounce that because I was messing up horribly trying to pronounce that name. But I loved her interaction, and I have to ask you this question because I know you guys have seen it. Is Steven truly lost? Is Steven truly lost in the sands, or do we think he's gonna come back? Considering the fact that currently Mark is basically in paradise, and Steven's the one that's pretty much in the Egyptian version of purgatory.
Well, honestly, I think that they've laid several seeds out there for one for his ex-wife to get Khonshu to break him out so that he can resurrect him, but then as soon as like Jake gets released, somehow, some way that those hearts will no longer be balanced, because he was the one that, yes, he might, Mark might have the guilt of the deaths that he took, but Jake got some bodies on him, so someone's going to come back and say, wait a minute, you don't belong here because you did some of this shit too, my dude.
Right. But I think that's where the secret's going to come out, that Jake was the one that killed her father.
The interesting thing is that this version of Jake is the murder dude.
Yeah.
In the book, he's the Matches Malone. He's the guy that goes to ground to get the information.
True. that's gonna be interesting though, because this upcoming Wednesday is probably be the most streams that Disney has had since Loki, which we already know that's coming back for a season 2. So if they do a second season of Moon Knight, yeah, I can see where Bushmaster comes in and goes from there. I'm kind of worried because Disney has yet to have a bad series. Almost every series they've put out has been great. I know, because if you're like me, you're trying to avoid Doctor Strange news for the next couple of weeks. You're trying to avoid it.
Next
So
next
is
week.
Netflix both the
It's next week.
finale of Moon Knight and the
Yes.
start of Obi-Wan?
Yep.
Okay, so this is going to be a big thing because we also got the finale and premiere for both Star Treks.
Yep.
Yo,
It is good.
That intro for Strange New Worlds looks amazing.
Yes.
Oh my god! I was like, oh wait, what's happening here? Okay.
Because that's what I'm looking. Because I finally just finished the most latest season of Star Trek Discovery, and now I'm finishing Picard. About to finish Picard, but it's not exactly wrapped up yet. But
it's been good.
I am looking forward to Strange New Worlds so freaking
I haven't
much.
seen anything other than just that, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I was talking to my friends over the Nerdpocalypse, and when did Pike take over, or when did Kirk take over the Enterprise? Because the way they made it seem is that they were on that 5-year mission for only a few weeks before Pike got killed.
Right.
But Pike was in control of the Enterprise for 15 years.
Right.
So
they actually may not go off the. Because I was kind of talking about this with a friend of mine. I said they may not go from the television lore, because from television lore, because of Next Generation, they explained that Pike only being a captain for such a short time before Kirk took over. That was the only spot it was ever mentioned. But if you go back to the books, like you said, Pike's been captain for 15 years. It was only up until a certain mission comes up to where he meets his end, and then Kirk takes over. So either way, they got a lot of material to work with. So that's why I'm like, dude, run with it. Just because your last two Trek series have been great, and to this day, I've still nothing will ever beat the Picard talking shit to a Klingon to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, Commander Sisko will always be my favorite captain. But let's be honest, if you walk up to a Klingon and say, you may test that assumption at your convenience in the most British way humanly possible, that's pretty much saying pull up and find out.
You know what? I recently, it's amazing that we're here, but yeah, I recently rewatched all of TNG and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, but within the last 6 or 7 months. Because I watched One Piece from start to current in 8 months.
You were like me.
Everybody's doing one. Everybody's doing the One Piece travel, because I'm still doing that.
Listen, it's worth it. It's worth it. One Piece is amazing, and if people are still stuck on that, it looks looks terrible because from 1999, my dude.
It's 1,000. You know what? I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah, just watch 1015. Just watch 1015 and see if you're still on that shit.
Right.
But no, as far as Star Trek is concerned, I have to say that TNG has the stories that were the most progressive,
right?
And had the most Gene Roddenberry mentality in the world, where they were looking for that utopia. And there was a few episodes. There was this one episode where there was non-binary aliens, and they didn't even have a word for their pronouns back then. You know what I mean? And they didn't. And Riker was trying to figure them out. So what do you say? It, but yeah, I that's where TNG lies for me. Yes, Picard did have some bangers with some of the, because I think there was 3 episodes where Picard, really endeared himself. Because I hated Picard in the very beginning, because he was just because he was the Frenchman that just surrendered the ship every chance he fucking got. That first season was terrible, but when he was able to stand up for Data, having that little girl, and then standing beside Worf for as his advocate, and then being basically the lawyer for Riker when he was on trial for murder. Like I was saying, you know what? Picard is about his people. I like that. I fuck with him on that level. But Cisco,
Cisco, that dude.
Yeah. Cisco's just gonna run up on an intergalactic god and knock him on his ass.
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Cisco, like, his famous soliloquy, on a pale moon, or was it on a pale horse, that episode or something like that?
Yeah.
I get it. I didn't when DS9 first came out, I was like 12 and I did not get the gravitas of why he was so different than all the other captains, and I get it now. I get it.
To me, it'll always be the fact that you stared down a Kardashian ship with no shields, no weapons, and still sat there and dared them to attack you. If that is not the greatest game of blink first, but also Joe, I know Joe, if I remember right, you point this out too. Here's another reason why I love Commander Cisco. Q would never fuck with him. He would
once, and then he was like, "Well, Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard."
Right.
Yeah. See, I was at Fan Expo Philadelphia just a few weeks ago, and my team was there interviewing the cast of all of the Star Trek folks. Nice. And John Delancey has had a very terrible reputation for being very difficult with people of color.
Really?
Yes. Huh. He is not only is he difficult to interview because of whatever, but he just doesn't respect the people who happen to not look like him. So I'm wondering if that really had something to do with his limited amount of time on DS9. Because he was all up and down fucking Voyager.
Yeah, he was all over Voyager. He was all over Next Generation. So I'm like, yeah, that does make that's a straight point.
I mean, I'm one of the few people you will ever find that actually has a Deep Space Niners baseball cap.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the nice lady I date gave that to me for Christmas and got my name embroidered on the back.
Nice.
But yeah, it's Star Trek New Worlds is definitely going to be interesting. I had to look it up.
Well, yeah, Lower Decks, that's going to be good too.
Lower Decks is funny as hell. I did want to look up real quick. Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's May 27th. So
okay.
Come out. So May 27th is when it's going to come out. But yeah, this next.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think that Strange New Worlds is going to be more Voyager than Voyager was? Because Voyager, they were meeting new species and dealing with bullshit every episode.
Well, some of that was also because Voyager liked to put itself in danger for no reason sometimes.
A lot.
There is that. No. They were on an explorative mission to see what that nebula was all about.
Don't lie. They were on an explorative mission to find where the best coffee was.
That's pretty much. Because I'm sorry, if you're getting stuck by a guy named the Caretaker who brought you to the other side of the Delta Quadrant, and you got Chakotay being like, "Look, we don't know these folks. We can just go ahead and go on back."
But do you think Strange New Worlds is going to be, because like I think that was the bread and butter of Voyager, was the fact that they were exploring things all the time, they were actually living out the Federation creed every single day.
I want to say that it's going to be Voyager but unrefined. Like,
I'm going to say it's going to be a fine blend of Voyager and TNG. Like, the crew will be trying to do their best, but they're going to just stumble into situations that they are unprepared for and probably shouldn't be there to begin with.
That's what I'm gonna love about it. It's like it's gonna literally be everything before the Prime Directive.
Ooh, you know what I just thought about?
Ooh, what's that?
They could actually run into Khan.
Yeah. They could. I can see that.
They could just stumble upon Genesis like, yeah, we're not going to talk about this after we leave here, right?
Yeah. The thing is, like, I could not give Enterprise the time of day. I refuse. I don't even acknowledge that it exists. I'm only saying that to you now so that we can just be on the same page.
Okay.
It grew on. It took a while to grow on me.
I watched it
Enterprise did
purely
well.
for the hot Vulcan. I'll just come right out and say it.
Well, that's casting. that's casting. That's about the best. That's about the best answer I can get to that. Enterprise would probably be on my lowest of the list, but it's just
new Nickelodeon series is honestly not too bad either.
Prodigy.
Yeah, I've given that like 2 episodes so far. I haven't because they just became a team to a degree to get out of
There's a certain episode where it clicks.
I still have to go back and go watch Prodigy.
Yeah, once they hit, I want to say it's episode 3 or 4.
See,
that's where it clicks.
4 episodes.
4 episodes. Okay. The 4 episode theory.
Okay, all right, because it bothers me that that the lead is so impetuous.
So here's how you look at it. I can help you make this series a little bit better.
What's that?
This is a CGI version of Space Cases.
Okay. Yeah. Still, it's what was that? Shit. It's just really no. Okay. It's the first 2 seasons of like Star Wars Rebels, where you just gotta trudge along, and that's what I feel.
I will split the difference with you and only say season 1 of Rebels, because season 2 of Rebels, they got their act together a lot more.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I still say
I'm reasonable.
I still say
the moment they started introducing Vader as a more constant threat in season 2, that's where I think the show went much better.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
I love me another Trekkies. It's fun. But
yeah,
I always love me another Trekkies. I'm like,
I will say the episode last week for Picard was god awful.
See, I have not gotten past the first season of Picard because it's so hard for me to get past how old he is for him to be running and jumping and doing all kinds of shit, and then that's a stunt double. I just can't. I just haven't. It just hasn't.
They do in season 2 and some parts of season 1 explain why his body is able to do that, but it's more of a season 2 thing.
Well, if they're sitting there trying to,
never mind.
If they're trying to hype up, the TNG cast, then that lets you know that they know. They let you know that they know that the people are not watching the show, and that this is they're trying to go out with a bang.
Well, the thing about it is they've been wanting since Riker and Deanna made an appearance in season 1. A lot of folks have been saying, well, what about Data? What about Geordi? What about all these people that are still alive that can still come on and do the show? So I get it. I didn't expect Picard. He's only going to have one more season after this. So I guess
what I want, and this is something I know a lot of people see, because if you read the TNG books, Picard and Beverly are married, are separated, and Beverly's got her own ship.
Right.
I want to see what that conversation is going to be like.
That was in an episode. That was in an episode. That was in TNG.
No. I want to see what.
No, not the day. He's talking about Days of Futures Past on TNG, where all three Enterprises were together, and then Beverly's ship got destroyed. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is like a weird, different continuity. I'm still not sure if this is the movie timeline or not.
No,
because we have the 2 different timelines now for Star Trek.
You got the Kelvin.
And we got Kelvin, and I think Picard. I know Discovery's in the main timeline, but I think Picard's in the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, he's in Kelvin. But
really,
yes,
he's in Kelvin.
The Beverly thing has not happened, so I want to see what the Beverly conversation is.
Yeah.
How do we know that's in the Kelvin timeline?
I think they said it in an
interview. Because he kind of similarly mentioned, because I think it was episode, I want to say either episode 2 or episode 3, where he briefly mentions the crew, and he doesn't mention, because they mentioned Dr. Crusher, and they're like, isn't there something more about the doctor between you and her? And he goes, no, not that I want to talk about. And I was like, okay, so you're not going to harp on the fact that it's kind of a nod to where it's like maybe it's just old man Picard doesn't want to talk about Beverly, or she's still around, or they're having an out.
See, my thing is that they got divorced.
You divorce a Frenchman? A fine wine? You
I
divorced?
mean, he probably gave the papers and surrendered, but
That part.
Oh God. Get the
That
papers
part.
to surrender. But anyway, let me go into this show before we get to Joe's news and comic books.
and the anime.
So and anime, because you do got some anime news. Yeah, you do. But I gotta ask you, Demetrius. So how do you feel about Halo? Because I already know Joe's feeling on Halo. I gotta ask you about
listen. As somebody who read those books
Mhm.
in high school, someone who played those games,
He's going right where I went.
that first 18 minutes of that first episode, I was busting a fucking nut. Like I was loving it. Like, oh my goodness. And then he took his helmet off. And then I was like, you know what? And then I was like, you know what? Okay, stop, Demetrius, stop. Don't be that kind of fan, because they're trying to tell a story in a different medium. You know, that they're trying to do something different. So give it a chance. And then all of a sudden there's a human that's with the Sangili, or that's with the Covenant. Like, okay.
You was kind of waiting.
You're forgetting the teenage sidekick.
Now, I'm trying. I am. My mom used to watch a lot of trash. Okay. And and so, and she still does. Like, she's on WGN all the time now, and I don't even know fucking why. But
Then
like, so
you gotta watch them.
I mean, see, and the thing is, like, so I'm seeing this, I'm watching this, and I'm trying to give it. There's no reason for me not to give it a chance, because I think they've got the first 2 seasons greenlit.
Yeah,
so I'm watching it. I know they're trying to tell this story to get us on Halo, which is completely different than what happened in the game and the books, but that's fine. This is your own story. This is what you're doing differently. I am trying to not compare it to like Earth 2032 or Babylon 5 or any of the stuff that came back in the day. So I'm just trying to let it be its own thing. I watch it. I don't harp about it. I don't talk about it online anymore. The fact that we finally got another fight scene that was really good in the 5th fucking episode, as opposed to between episode 1 and episode 5, like Halo series is kind of lacking, my guy. But I just watch it now just because it's just something I got to keep up with, because it's Halo. I mean, the suit looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The theme song or the opening, I watch it. I don't skip it. So I don't know. I just don't like the people who are under the helmets.
Okay. So
let me
go ahead, because I have to say this for Joe, because you're probably wondering why Joe is smiling a mile wide and why I look like I'm about to just laugh my ass off. Everything that you said after the helmet might as well have been verbatim from Joe's side.
Oh.
Like, the moment he lifted his helmet, I was like, did we go to the character selection screen and pick widest default possible?
Listen, and see, that's that's what John was supposed to be. John was a pale.
John is black every video game and book.
No, he was a pale white guy. He was always pale. He was, because he never took the shit off. That's why he was pale. So, the fact that this guy is, I mean, I understand he's supposed to be expressive, especially since he took the pellet out, but that's not something that was even ever a problem. And it was us, but see, these weren't things that they had to address back in the day either. We were just out there shooting grunts and shit, and jackals.
But I mean, I'm with you on that one. I mean, I kind of had to, once he took the helmet, I'm like, oh, so we're gonna go with that.
We're just default pick default on the character selection screen.
What'd you call him?
He is default Commander Shepard.
Yeah.
Default Commander Shepard.
Yeah, he is.
But I think when I dropped out is when he just wanders onto the screen and you just see like all of him
in all his glory.
In all his glory, I'm like, well, I'm done with this series.
I still watch it just because it's an interesting story. It is literally pre-Halo. It's almost like, you guys remember the YouTube series 4 Until Dawn?
Yes.
It's pretty much following that.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it. You know, but what's dope is that I do enjoy seeing the other Spartans. Like I
Yeah.
do,
yeah,
you know, I want to see that dynamic because that was like one of the best things in Reach. You
yeah.
know, like
Mhm.
is playing that game and you know, like damn, like I'm not the only super soldier out here. Like this dude. And then like, when you see it actually in action, you know, when they ran in front of that Warhog, you know,
Yeah.
you kind he's like, all right, I'm back in. You know what I
The
mean? Just let me watch this.
the
I'm
best
still
thing,
waiting for red versus blue scene.
but the thing about it is though, they are very short on Covenant battles. Whenever the Covenant and the USNC fight, they are very short on those battles. But when they show them, like you said, you're
But
sitting there watching.
because it's like that's probably where all the money was going. You
Yeah,
know,
budget,
because those
Michael Bay
elites
budget.
look really good. You know,
Oh, I was gonna say the Michael Bay budget just full of explosions, nothing but
yeah,
explosions.
and the fact that the ghosts look as good as they
Yeah,
do, like I mean, they you know, and then now we got the fucking ape alien came through. Like, come on, like
oh
he
yeah, the
looked
brute.
great. The brute,
I
yeah.
just I just wanted the warthog. The fact you saw a warthog exactly in living color, it's like how many, and can I get it in black?
How do you pull up Paramount Plus on your TV? You watch it on your
Yeah,
laptop?
I watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch it on TV.
Okay, so if you watch on TV, so when you pull up Paramount Plus, then you see the Warhol come through.
Yeah,
Right. That was dope. I was like, oh, they're really on this.
yeah.
And this is the story that we get though. And then this lets you know that I just watched the show and just grit my teeth. I don't watch the after show anymore. Like I
I
watched
don't
that
blame
first
you.
after show and I
Yeah,
just
I
couldn't.
can't.
I just
I can't watch the after show. I can't. I will tell you why I can't. Because they try. It's almost like you ever see someone have like a bad show, and then the hype man comes back and tries to do the positive points behind it. That's what the after show is. It's like I don't need that. It's like just give me the episode because you know what? I don't blame The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, Talking Dead did great. It did great for what it was. But every show now, thank God Moon Knight doesn't do this, has to have this little after show where they talk about the episode. And I'm like, it doesn't add anything more to it than we
Well,
already know.
Well, we got
so
YouTube for that.
here's
For
the
Moon
one
Knight.
nice thing about Star Trek's Ready Room. It lets us know we will not have Wesley in any of these shows.
You know, I didn't have a problem with Wesley. That now that he's by the end of TNG, he was like some sort of other dimensional being or something or
Yeah, he was a
another. Like
traveler.
traveler.
Yeah.
I would not mind seeing him
I would
mature and see what he can do.
Yeah.
I would kind of hope to see him in Picard just so to come back as a traveler and be like, I've watched over you, I've watched over your entire journey. And to have that little bit of reunion, I still hope for that. But still, I'm like, I mean, to see him come back as a traveler, I'm like, you literally went to Starfleet Academy and then dropped off when you were about to hit Alpha Squad. I'm kind of mad at you for that.
Nah, see, the best Trek kid to go from brat to respectable is still Nog.
Oh, Nog had it rough.
Yeah.
Nog had it rough. Let's be
And
honest.
Nog gets respect. If you're paying attention to Discovery, when they get to Starfleet, there is a ship called the Nog.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
So there's a Voyager and there's a Nog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, because I mean, that man lost a leg. Like all the respect in the world for him. Like he handled business as much as he could.
I mean, when you realize who your father was, and then you had Quark for an uncle, and then you had the Negas just come through and just wreak havoc. I mean,
yeah.
Like you had to learn the rules of acquisition before you learned Starfleet, and the fact that you had to learn the 86 rules of acquisition, and I'm still surprised I know 25 of them. But
I thought it was 286.
Well, it was cut
no,
down.
no, you're right. It is 286.
No, it got cut down when the Magus married Moogie.
Oh God. Moogie. Oh man. Joe, what anime news you got for us?
All right, so we don't have a whole lot, but we do have some. First and foremost, we did forget to mention that The Batman is getting a sequel with everybody returning on board.
See that coming?
Yeah, I did too.
You know what? That'll be interesting
Mm-hmm.
to see how DC handles a multi-pronged project that is the same thing. Okay, because they haven't really done that before. Where
True.
they got HBO Max's Penguin series coming out,
And
then
the
that's
Gotham PD series, right?
oh, I don't know anything about that. I thought the
No,
Penguin thing
Gotham
was
PD got folded, and now it's becoming an Arkham Asylum series.
see
Oh, okay. So it's okay. So there's still two things out there, but you're
And
right
then
though.
Batgirl, the series, is now officially Batgirl, the movie.
Right. So the Batgirl series got turned into a movie, Arkham Asylum, and then you have the Penguin spinoff, and then now
see
you have the sequel. So
that's gonna be too much now. They just fucked that all up. Never mind.
Yeah, it's too much
Never mind.
Batman.
Never
well,
mind.
that's the thing about it. We've talked about this on here where it's like we sit there said the entire time. I mean, don't get me wrong, Batman will always be my favorite character, but it gets to a point where it's like there are other DC heroes you can do. I mean, there will be an opening in the Flash very soon. We there will be an opening because trust and believe we still might see the Flash movie, but I don't think Ezra Miller's going to stick around long enough to do a sequel.
Well, I mean, his next court date will also be his next fight date, so
Yeah, that's just I never understood how in the world do you get a role of a lifetime and you do stupid stuff.
I believe Lois Griffin put it best: cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I get well. I mean, when you
No,
saw that DC fandom, yeah. Actually, you know what? That DC fandom where he sat there and he looked like he was stoned out of his mind. You're exactly right,
man. I don't know. Like at this point, they just might as well just put Grant Gustin in there and just be done with it.
That's what there actually is a
Petition
going around that said that they want him to do that, which I got no issue with. I mean, he is a great Wally West playing Barry Allen.
Flash, he is fantastic.
Yeah,
when he gets to be Barry Allen,
let's see. Think about it, because if again, kids back in the day,
yeah,
there was always a super separate line between TV actors and movie actors.
Yeah.
If a movie actor happened to come up on TV, that means that their movie career was over.
Right.
And if a TV actor ever crossed over into the movies, which was super rare, then they've made it.
Right.
But now we've got a thing called prestige television, where thanks to HBO, an actor can from the movies can cross over onto television and still have like the gravitas of a movie, but have like a budget.
Right.
But now that we've got streaming services, TV is just as good as movies, and movies more than likely just not as good as TV. So now that I've laid this foundation for you, think about it. If a movie actor fucks up on a role that has a multiversal aspect to it, and he's already met his possible successor in the multiverse, it would take nothing in the world to just have an entire movie of the Flash be Ezra Miller, and then in that last bit where everything changes because he saved his mom or whatever, and it just happened to be Barry, and it happens to be Grant Gustin, it would work. And then the core cast of the Flash, as the show ends, they become the core cast of the movies. And we
can't handle Iris twice.
Bottom line is,
I was not expecting that.
That would be the trajectory that nobody would have expected, because back in the day, if a TV show ended, they would have either a TV movie or a movie to go along with it. So like if you think like Firefly or even TNG itself.
But you got a point though. I mean, the whole idea of this, because it is a paradox story, he goes back to fix said paradox. And you're right. That's how you can introduce Grant Gustin in and the cast in. And I'm not gonna lie, you might want to get that idea patented, but I think that would work, honestly, because I would actually. That's actually how you can bring him in, and actually he takes on the role of the Flash. I can see that. So actually, that actually does work pretty well.
Except for the fact that if you read the spoilers for this Flash movie, this is barely a Flash movie. This is secretly a Superman movie.
Say what?
Oh, you haven't read the?
I don't. I stay away from spoilers. I don't.
We don't know if these are spoilers, but supposedly, like, Michael Shannon's back as Zod, kills baby Superman. Supergirl comes from another dimension. She gets her neck snapped by Zod.
Oh wait. So this is the backdoor pilot to the new Supergirl. That
This is the backdoor pilot to everything, but it's mostly Superman in a Flash movie. Like supposedly, you only see a Reverse Flash for 5 seconds throughout the whole movie, and everything is nothing but Superman related stuff.
So we hope that's not it. We hope, but it would be messed up.
Oh, Michael Keaton's there.
Well, I mean, Michael Keaton is the only reason that people are going to watch because we still want to see the original Batman that a lot of us grew up with. So there's that. But
oh yeah, go read those. What would be spoilers? Because I guarantee you that it's the most ludicrous acid drop you've ever seen.
I'm trying. I thought
Okay,
about
what else do we got? Because we got some weird stuff.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do about Doctor Strange. I'm trying to avoid everything about Doctor Strange until Thursday when I go see the movie.
So we got Sony making bizarre decisions, casting Bad Bunny in El Muerte, the Spider-Man movie, another part of the Spider-Man movie, where, how did I put this to him? El Muerte is a character that appeared in 2 issues 28 years ago and has less street cred in Marvel Comics than Hypno Hustler, the Turtle, and the Kangaroo.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Bad Bunny is gonna do a bad job. I mean, I'm only going off his WrestleMania appearance, but no, I'm sorry, his Royal Rumble appearance. Sorry, but I'm not saying the character can't work, but it's like I have never seen so many people immediately start clowning it. It's
because
like really
El Muerte was there to fight the ghost of a evil heel luchador.
I understand. I understand. But again, it's like, can we at least give it time to develop? Because this could be a robodope. But then again, it's Sony. Take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes with Sony, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Because they may go. Say what?
I don't trust.
I was gonna say, as long as it's better than the Hulk Hogan movie, we're good.
Which one?
The one where they made Zeus for it.
No Holds Barred?
Yeah.
Not No Holds Barred.
I want it to be better than No Holds Barred, but not as good as Ready to Rumble. I want that sweet spot in the middle.
Oh, not No Holds Barred. Oh, God rest Tiny Zeus Lister's soul, but dang, that was a terrible.
All right, anime-wise, Sailor Moon is pulling a Attack on Titan, but is not gaslighting its audience. It is confirmed that Sailor Moon S, the final arc of Sailor Moon for Sailor Moon Crystal, will be coming out in a 2-part theatrical release. They have confirmed they will not be doing a series for it. It will be an official 2-part animated release.
Until enough money's been made.
Dragon Ball Superhero will be coming out in June. It has now been confirmed.
This year?
Yep.
Yay! I will watch it.
We get to see Mellow Yellow in all his glory.
Mellow Yellow Piccolo. I'm sorry. Look, you know what? No, hang on a second. That ticks me off every time I think about that. How is it that Goku and Vegeta being my favorite DBZ character of all time, Vegeta was probably the number 2 most disrespected character of all of Dragon Ball Z. Piccolo is number 1. Because how in the blue hell do you go through almost 7 arcs and not one power-up? Frieza got a freaking power-up.
And his power-up basically gives him Namekian vitiligo.
Yes, you're now the lightest Namekian alive. That's your power-up.
And smoothest because all his ridges are gone.
I'm just like.
But to be fair, he does own land and has a mailbox.
That's just. That's the trade. That's the trade-off. He has land, light skin, but gets land.
We get to see his little Namekian house and his little mailbox. Meaning that's how Gohan and Pan probably write him up and go, "Hey, sometimes Dad, can you watch the kid?"
I'm sorry.
Dawn Skin Piccolo.
I'm just like.
He seriously looks like a can of Mellow Yellow.
I'm like, Frieza goes Golden Frieza. I mean, you have Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, Golden Frieza. We don't know what Gohan's power. Gohan, I think, is probably going to wind up going Super Saiyan God and superhero, and Piccolo just
Broly
basically,
has yellow. Broly has Super Saiyan 4 technically,
yeah, yeah, he pretty much
Super
is Super Saiyan
Saiyan
4.
and Super Saiyan and Go and Legendary Green.
Yeah, but Piccolo has
Mellow
a
yellow.
color change. Piccolo has a color change. This is worse. This is worse than why Yamcha is still alive. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on that rant. But go ahead, Joe.
Now you're good.
Mhm.
What else do we got? Uh, I think that was it anime wise. Other than just anime, good anime. Oh yes. Unfortunately, today Neil Adams passed away. He was an advocate for creator rights in the comic book industry.
Mhm.
Prolific artist and writer. He penned such great works as the World's Greatest Detective era of Batman, the Blue and Gray era.
Yep.
He also made Hard Traveling Heroes with Hal Jordan and Ollie. He also was the one that penned the pivotal issue that broke the comics code of Wally being or not Wally, Ollie. No,
Golly.
Roy. Roy being a junkie.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna say Ollie being a joint. No, it was Roy. Sorry.
Yep, Roy being a junkie. So he will definitely be missed.
Yeah, because I still have. I think I still have that great, the world's greatest detective issue somewhere buried.
He is also the one that got DC to pay up creator rights to the Superman creator families
Mm-hmm.
and helped work to form writer unions and whatnot.
Unions always needed, but that damn.
Oh,
Hell,
what else we got? Stargirl and the Return of the Justice Society. Stargirl will be getting a 6-issue limited miniseries. The Justice League swears to God they're coming back soon. They swear this time, up and down.
But the older Justice League or this new
Justice
one?
Society or Justice
The
League?
Justice Society. The Justice
Okay.
Society swear to God the JSA is coming back. They promise. They promise, and Pinky swear they are coming back soon.
We've heard. I'm not. I'm not calling BS. I'm just saying.
Oh, even CBR in their article is like, look, we know this is the 8th time we've written this article.
Right. The eighth time you've written the same thing. It's like it's. You know what? Let me shut up. I was gonna say it's just like Attack on Titan, but I don't want to trigger myself. But go ahead.
Kamen Rider Zero One will be getting a comic book pretty soon released in the US. This will be written by Titan Comics, who previously did the Robotech series, which actually went very well.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish it actually hadn't been canceled so briefly because they were deviating from the timeline and doing all sorts of interesting things in the Robotech comic book.
Hmm.
But it is yet to be announced if this is going to be a continuation of Kamen Rider Zero One or a comic book adaptation of the series.
Probably the latter.
For those unaware, Kamen Rider Zero One is one of the first Kamen Riders since Kamen Rider V3 to be legally sold and translated in the US. It can be caught on demand over at Tubi and on occasionally over at Tokusatsu.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, we just got comics.
Yeah, because I got a bone to pick with at least one of them.
Yes, I know you got a bone to pick with them.
I have a bone to pick with the guard. I have a bone to pick with one of the comics.
Um, I forgot who. I think they got the writer from. No, somebody's directing. Just got brought on by Sony to direct or the new Robotech movie. That they
Yeah.
that was the. But you said that it clicked. I just can't remember what it was.
I can't think of his name, but I know you're
Here,
talking
let
about.
me Google it. Also, John Watts is now stepping down from the Fantastic Four
Fantastic
movie.
Four.
Oh, you
And
can't
Justin
blame.
Lin is stepping away from Fast and Furious.
Well, I mean, how many more Fast and Furious movies can you make? You went to space. What's
But
next?
see, yeah, I've heard that, but then what I've also heard is that Justin Lin was the one that kind of like revitalized the series
He did.
between because he did 5 and 6,
Yeah, yeah.
and like they were in their bag, 5, 6, and 7. So, um, with him stepping away, like for creative differences, you had to wonder, are they who was making the pitch to make the team more grounded again?
I,
Was it the studio or was it James or was it Justin Lin? And
I want to say Justin Lin because you did some. Here's my thing: it's a level of outrageous stunts. I'm like, once you've driven a supercar in Dubai through buildings, like you have no roads, like you just said, bump everything about physics. Okay, fine, I can understand that. Then you decided that you're going to take down an aircraft carrier with rope and vehicles. So you pretty much just said F science. Okay, cool. I understand it as well. You went to space. You literally, at that point, it's like, that's a high bar. So I can understand them kind of being grounded at the. I can understand the whole thing. Like, look.
So here's how you do Fast 10. You just call it Mask.
That is the one thing. It was either that, or just turn them into like the covert team of GI Joe, like, and then in the 11th one they meet the Transformers.
Or what was that other cartoon? Action Teens on Machines.
Yes.
Oh hell.
Yes.
Can Dom just be one of the Centurions?
Oh God.
No.
No, that would not end well.
Yeah, he just Yeah, he could just have his Dodge Ram fuse onto him, or just Dom become Turbo Team.
Oh God.
At that point, tell me. At this point, we had two of the characters meet aliens and were saved by them.
I just don't want him to come out and say there's nothing stronger than family except me. I was like, I just don't need that. I just don't need that line anymore. It's just how many ways can you burn that line? But no, I was like,
they just need to become Mask.
You know what? Does Hash Bro still own Mask? Or that's a wonderful question. Hash Bro still own Mask?
Because who was that? Where they were supposed to be coming up with like a cinematic universe with
I think it's still happening, but I think the underperforming GI Joe movies have slowed it down. But Bumblebee picked it up.
Bumblebee is still coming, but Snake Eyes didn't really do as well as they wanted.
What else could we do? Let me think. Dom's car could be one of the Stunticons secretly.
Wow.
Or they could be the new Knight Riders.
There we go.
I can see that.
Except wait, he's still alive. We can still get Mr. Feeney to be in it.
Oh, Knight Rider.
Oh, and by the way, we were thinking of Reese Thomas for.
There you go. I couldn't think of his name to save my life.
He is Hawkeye's director.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I couldn't think of his name. But no, that was funny. I was like thinking to myself, it was like just to see another Fast and Furious, and then at the same time, it's like I got nothing against it, but it's like my favorite was still Tokyo Drift. It was probably the most underrated movie, but it was still my favorite. Because
can the family take on the Inhumanoids?
Say what?
Can Dom's family take on the Inhumanoids?
Oh God!
We get to have what's her name? The main girl in Dom's thing.
Oh, Letty.
Yeah, she can be touched by decompose and be that giant zombie bride.
Oh Lord, you know it's gonna be something crazy since 10's supposedly the last one, but I'm not surprised.
He's just gonna reach into his glove box and pull out a lightsaber.
Oh no! Then there's gonna be a certain mouse that's gonna be like, "You need to come talk to us, sir."
No, he was like, "This is a beam saber. This is a laser sword. It is not a lightsaber. It does not make the swoosh noise.
But it's
the sound of a car revving every time I swing it.
Really, just enough to avoid the lawyers.
Yes, just enough to avoid the lawyers.
Enough. Listen, they
got
away with it.
Swings, it goes family.
Family.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Demetrius?
No, but they got away with the. Damn, it wasn't Brave Star. There was another like lightsaber wielder cartoon that came out in the 80s. Blastar. See?
Blastar, yeah.
My man.
Also Thunder the Barbarian.
My man. That's what. Okay.
Oh God.
Yep.
There's gonna be a whole bunch of kids looking up 80s cartoons.
We haven't even gotten to the fact that we can talk about both Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's true. Although
the one with the proton packs and the one with the ape.
Oh God, that's gonna have me crazy.
Or laser tag. There you go. That's how they do it. They have to fight in a laser tag tournament.
Oh, that's just gonna be good and terrible.
I still have my original gun around here somewhere.
So do I. I love that Starlight Blaster so much.
It's the sound. My sound card is weak on
but
it,
the
but
design will stay forever.
Yeah.
Y'all still have yours. I can't even imagine what I did with mine. But then again, I still have my Super Scope 6, and I have to explain to people that's not an actual rifle. I have to explain to people, let's say, what is this? It's for Super NES. It's a rifle. No, it's not a rifle. It's what we used. Oh, God. Don't tell me you got one, Joe.
Oh, the Super Scope 6? No, we couldn't do that one. We had the, God, what was the Sega Genesis equivalent?
Oh, you're talking about the 6-star?
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine. That thing was so freaking expensive back then. I think it was like, I want to say it was like $300 just to get it. And it only had 3 games associated with it.
Look, it was either that or the USS Flag, and I chose poorly as a child.
I understand. We all have those decisions.
It was right up there with, do you want Mortal Kombat? Do you want Street Fighter, or do you want Eternal Champions? Again, I chose poorly in that scenario.
He was out here playing War Gods on 64.
Dark Ages. I was Lord Demas
Gods.
every time.
Oh, not War Gods. Oh, wow. Oh. Man. All right, Joe, I see your comments being loaded up.
Yeah, all right. So we're just going to get right out the gate and get this out of the way. First off, I'm going to be petty. Thank God Brian Michael Bendis is off this book. I can get it again. That man cannot write Justice League. And surprisingly, as soon as Brian Michael Bendis leaves, Naomi's like, ooh, I got to take this. I can't be here. Bye. No, I think she's actually in the book a little bit, but she's like one of the Justice Leaguers that doesn't get teleported away.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So,
go ahead.
League number 75. This is kicking off the DC summer event, Dark Crisis. I really don't need to get too much in depth in this because the title literally spoils it. This is, like I said, kicking off Dark Crisis. The Justice League is mysteriously teleported in and faces off against the Darkness's army of all the big DC bads from across the dimension. So, Doomsday, Necron, Neuron, Eclipso,
Ares,
Magog, Darkseid, the Hand, which I believe is the shadow of the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
And Pariah, who is now officially a full-on bad guy, as opposed to just being the Watcher of the DC Universe during Crisis events. And everybody dies except for Black Adam, including Jon Stewart, who literally just gets a power-up. It's like going to Namek. He was literally Krillin, goes to Namek, gets his power-up, and dies.
I didn't know that was coming. You're about to call him Mellow Yellow.
The most apt analogy I can give.
I thought you were going to call him Mellow Yellow Piccolo and still got soloed.
Oh, no. I mean, I was just give the most apt analogy. Jon Stewart gets a really good power-up and then just gets bodied the next time he's seen.
But it's a God storm.
And he was going up against the Darkness and the Darkness resurrected Spectre.
I understand that, but it's still a power that's the same as the Source, which should be on even...
It's like I told you in the group chat. He has the power of Jack Kirby. The Spectre has the power of DC Editorial.
Effing plot armor. Some will call it effing plot.
So Pariah just like, with the exception of Ollie dies another way. All the Justice League gets murked in pretty much 2 moves.
Still, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Only Black Adam survives and tells what will be the new Justice League, we got problems. Because they can't kill Black Adam because he's getting ready to have a movie coming out.
Well, you know, if people read comics and realize that yes, Black Adam will have a body count.
Oh, Black Adam
he's
has
quite the body count.
And but to be fair, and again, this is from Leonard Kenny. To be fair, they had that coming because they murdered his wife and his brother-in-law on the wedding night.
Yeah.
So there's a whole country that's a body count.
That's
Oh,
fair.
and Tara. He
Yeah,
killed
that's
Tara.
true.
So this is written by Joshua Williamson, art by Rafael Sandoval, inks by Jordi Tortuguna, sorry, and colors by Matt Hermes and
I said that
by
5 times.
Josh Reeves. So, yeah, like I said, this is kicking off our big summer event of Dark Crisis. We've been seeing bits and pieces of it here and there throughout certain comic books, most notably World's Finest, which I still don't think is in a different multiverse. No, it's been confirmed that Robin is Dick Grayson.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, Wonder Woman also gets murked immediately out of her event. But, we have a nice little conversation between between the Wonder Woman of old and new. Majors, have you gotten to read any some of the books this week?
I
No.
didn't. He didn't. I didn't give him the. That's on me. I didn't give him the list.
No. And then honestly, I between my work schedule, because I essentially work 4 jobs. I don't have time to sit and read. That's if I get through an anime quickly, then it's dubbed because it's something that's on while I'm driving to work or from work.
Ah,
Um,
Gotcha.
and yeah, if because like since and then if I'm on a Stairmaster, I can read a manga or read an anime, but like I said, I'm on Ranking of Kings, so I'm not really. I'm
see,
just
I'm on Spy X Family and like a whole bunch of other stuff right now.
see, and I would love to sit down and because like there's I want to read, My Hero. I want to read,
Mm-hmm.
One Piece, but I just stay on YouTube and just let the people who read it, just tell me what happened.
But
So I
Bachi
can
though,
keep up.
Bachi is my dude. We
Oh,
Bachi is my dude on Ranking the Kings because
oh, well, Boji, I have not. I've seen wherever because he's just got done with his training.
yeah.
That's where
And
I'm
you're on
at.
the,
So
oh, you're on,
don't spoil that.
I guess
oh
I'll
no, I'm
start
not. No,
watching
no,
that.
no. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm just saying I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you're on episode 3, then you're gonna love the next couple episodes coming.
I
You're
guess
gonna
I'll
love
start
episode
watching that, but I got so much anime I'm watching right now.
10. Oh,
So yeah, Justice League title pretty much says it all. It actually is one of those comics where one of the very few times where the cover does not lie to you.
Give it a second.
See, this is supposed to be like the catalyst for like the new team to take
Yeah,
over, right? And that's
Right.
gonna coincide with the movies. And
no,
well,
this isn't going to the movie. This is just like they're getting ready to reboot again.
mhm.
But like we're getting the Sojourn Mullins is going to be the Earth's new Green Lantern, who had that awesome series Far Sector, which is still the best modern Green Lantern book out, and was like the shining spot of the Green Lantern series until recently.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, and Yara Flor taking over for Wonder Woman, who I love to death. John is taking over for his dad. I'm fairly certain Nightwing will probably be back in the Justice League.
Oh yeah.
And Wally, because Barry, of course, everything's going to hinge on Barry. But Pariah's already taken care of Barry by trapping him into a paradise reality where he is literally catered to.
He Mad Hattered him.
Oh, like
I
you wouldn't
call it.
believe.
He Mad Hattered him. I gave you a life that you could just be away from me.
Moving on over, we got Robin 13. This is written by Joshua Williamson, pencil art by Roger Cruz, inks by Norm Ratman, and colors by Luis Guerrero. This is kind of dropping us into the middle of the current Batman arc, Shadow War, where someone has assassinated Ra's al Ghul, and now it's a free for all for the mantle of the Demon's Head.
Yep.
The big thing about this one is we finally get to know who Respawn is.
I was still tripping off that one.
So,
I don't think we should say it. Just
okay.
because, yeah, I don't think we should say who the Respawn is.
We'll just say this is not slowly becoming less of a Shadow War, and this is now becoming Dad War.
Yeah, I go with that.
Because the one thing I will spoil is, yes, Respawn is technically Deathstroke's kid. We just won't say how and why. And we also know Deathstroke has terrible luck with Sun. So hope to God this kid works out for him in the end.
A whole lot of daddy issues.
Yep. So, I mean, it's just a confrontation of Robin's like, well, Ravager, how long did you know? And she's like, about
That
maybe
was
a
fucked.
week.
That was fucked up.
Yeah.
That part was fucked up. How long have you known? Really? Just.
I mean, we know not too long after the island thing because it happened right at the end of the island arc.
Yeah, but the way she said it, she's like,
Now, Demetrius, if I will recommend anything, definitely give this Robin book a try. The first arc is Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
literally, Robin goes to an island of all the best DC martial artists in a Mortal Kombat tournament. You get to die 3 times.
Although
this Robin is Damien, right?
Is Damien.
Yeah, it's Damien, yeah.
Like, literally, somebody KOs him in the first issue.
No, I still like about the end with Ra's al Ghul. That with a T, that with the shade will always be the pinnacle of that story for me.
You also get to see in the Robin book, you get to see Ra's al Ghul be Beach Bum Grandpa.
Beach Bum Grandpa.
It can complete with coconut drink with with tiny umbrella in it.
Mm-hmm. Followed by immediate shade on Talia. I do need immediate shade. All right.
But Josh Williamson, of course, he is DC's golden boy, much like how Jed MacKay is Marvel's golden boy at the moment, where he is pretty much writing almost half of DC's line alone.
Nice.
God bless that man. Moving on over, we got the finale of Trial of the Amazons. This is written by Becky Clune, Michael Conrad, Vita Aaliyah, Stephanie Williams, Joella Jones, with art by Elena Casagrande, Laura Braga, Skylar Partridge, Arania Mello, and Joella Jones. Joella Jones doing this art where we have all the Amazons right now. In fact, we'll just leave this one up because I honestly like this page better than the cover.
I mean, it pretty much was the A. It's pretty much the A squad.
Oh yeah.
If the A squad had a power level, this would pretty much be it.
So they're fighting the Demon of Chaos. We get some passings of Amazons, and my favorite part of the book happens where Diana leads her into the tiarary.
Yeah.
All the different tiaras that have been bestowed upon all the Wonder Women and Wonder Girls, and dubs Yara Wonder Girl, and Yara's like, girl, I'm like in my mid-20s. And it's just a wonderful back and forth between them.
It's like a Batman. And
it's like, well, it's kind of the pageantry. We know it's like, is this like a Robin thing with you?
That was funny. That part was funny. It's like a Batman and Robin thing you got going with all these. You already have 2 Wonder Girls. It's like, yeah, sorry.
And you just keep hearing it's like, you are the new Wonder Girl. I'll still take woman.
Oh man, it was. I did enjoy it though. They actually wrapped it up pretty well.
Yeah, the penultimate issue was not that great. This wrapped it up real well. This was also kind of a passing of the torch in the world of Themyscira. Queen Faruka, Faruka.
Yeah.
Still throwing shade, but she came around.
That was still fun.
We do get an epilogue over in the crowning of Queen Nubia of the Amazons, which we may check out because I want to see how all of this wraps up in there because,
her coronation, right?
And I want to see how all the other Amazonian deal with this. Yara's just like a shining light on this sometimes, just with her sass,
with her love for chicken.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say if it's not making her fool of herself with chicken, it's trying to go like I'm in my mid-20s. I really don't feel like being called girl.
Oh man, that was good. It was a good issue. I did dig it.
Yeah. Moving on over, we got Knights of X issue 1. This is written by Teenie Howard, art by Bob Quinn, colors by Eric Arcaniga. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
This is a continuation of Excalibur. This is just the new team. This is the Destiny of X variation of Excalibur. We're literally picking up where we left off, where Betsy is trapped in Otherworld, which is the magical realm, with all the other Captain Britons. Saturn IX wants her throne back because Arthur has taken it. Betsy absolutely wants nothing to do with Saturn IX, so she gets the new version of Excalibur. We also get to find out that they have magic sentinels.
Yeah, that was a little weird to me. I mean, it did read like a D&D, but I was like, yeah, okay. It's not a bad intro, but okay.
We do get some of Excalibur back, like Shogo in the background. We don't get Jubilee, as opposed to Rogue and Gambit. We just get Gambit. We do get Shatterstar and Richter. Bay of the Blood Moon is there instead of Doug. Megan makes her return to the team. She has not been in an Excalibur team since the wedding way back in the original run of Excalibur. And Rachel Gray returns. I am really looking forward to this. I know you had some problems with it, but
It
is it because
maybe
you weren't keeping up with Excalibur?
maybe it's just the first. It's maybe the next issue will be better because I had the same issue with Wonder Girl. So it could be that first issue thing.
I really enjoyed it, but that's also because I'm a huge fan of Excalibur. It is like Doctor Who meets X-Men a whole lot of the times.
You just waiting for
it
a
also
target.
becomes a D&D campaign.
Yeah.
Of course, we've also read what happens when you put other things in D&D campaigns, like Grimlock.
Oh,
Never did find out what happened to that.
I think they want to leave that as a mystery, personally.
No, I just don't think I read the final issue.
I bet, you know what? I will bet money it's not in that final issue.
Probably
I will bet money it's not.
And tonight's new big comic, aside from some honorable mentions, The Amazing Spider-Man #1. We are on to a new arc with new writing with one of the new writers. Zeb Wells is returning from his run with the Beyond Committee. John Romita Jr. is returning to Spider-Man. This is kind of a negative to me because I do not like John Romita Jr.'s art. It's very boxy. It kind of reminds me of like Everyone's Dread, like Scud the Disposable Assassin.
Damn.
Not to mention Peter is very unlikable in this issue.
Well, this is taking place post Beyond, and it's almost like
this is taking place like a year after Beyond, because this book opens with Peter screaming in a crater holding something, and he's on the outs with Aunt May. The Fantastic Four want nothing to do with him.
Right.
Usual Parker Luck debt collectors are after him, but that's nothing new. He's a jerk to
his best friend,
Robbie Robertson, who brave man in this issue, goes and asks Tombstone's permission to marry his daughter, and Tombstone's like, I respect that. Were I a younger man,
I would have
killed you. But at the same time, your dad is also one of the only men in New York I fear.
Right.
But I don't know what Joe Robertson can do to Tombstone, but
that's one of those unspoken things. Of why do you fear a man that you literally are invulnerable? It's like
I mean, he says like your dad can put a knife in my back. It's like, what knife? But like Peter's just,
he is a dick.
Yeah, I mean, especially like Aunt May and whatnot. Like even Aunt May is like, I am so tired of you lying to me.
Right. But I just thought that was weird. Then Mary Jane having kids, it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. So there is a lot of speculation on this. On if she is a stepmom. The odd thing is the little girl looks like a dead ringer for her.
Yeah.
We don't know if Paul, which is the guy that like says hi to her, that's like cousin or family member, because MJ does have extended family in this book. We met quite a few people of her family side. So we don't see them kiss, but we do see them hug, so we don't know what the relationship is there. It can even be so far as these are Peter's kids and she has not been telling him.
Probably so.
We do see them get back together like in Beyond, and then like that mysterious being of light. It's like, yeah, this ain't happening anymore. Because they were on the mend, like in the Beyond and all the other stuff, and now they're just like, MJ's like, do not talk to me. Do not come anywhere near me. I want nothing to do with you.
So that's what makes me think that there's an event that they're going to talk about. Because if this is a year after Beyond, then something else has happened to where he is out of with everybody. Has to be.
Yeah, I mean, we do see that he's going to get another new suit for a little bit, where he and Norman Osborn team up, because Norman is still right now technically a good guy because he had all the sins shot out of him.
Right. I'm still
then
laughing about that.
Poured onto Dr. Kafka, making her the Queen Goblin.
Queen Goblin, right.
With her, what did we call that thing she had?
The penance stare? What do we call it? The guilt stare? Or
guilt gaze.
Yeah, the guilt gaze. There we go.
I'm going to hang in there because I'm a Spider-Man fan, and I am looking forward to the summer event, which is called Dark Web, which is probably the Ben event.
Yeah.
Supposedly Ben might be hooking up with Madeline Pryor at the Hellfire Gala.
That'd be interesting.
Because I think Maddie's going to be running Limbo.
Well, that's going to be for an interesting gala.
And we've seen Spider-Man's costume for the gala, but people aren't sure if it's Peter or Miles.
I'm going with Miles.
I'm going with Miles because it's a red and black spider costume.
Right.
So, like, I am unsure how to feel about this. I definitely know I do not like John Romita Jr. because, for God's sakes, look at this leg on the cover.
Oh, yeah. That's like,
I understand it's Spider-Man, and this man, the only one who bends more than him is Reed. But a leg does not do that.
I'm trying to look at the leg, the way it's extended out. It's like, dude, your hip is already dislocated from the rest of your body.
And then look at his hand that's throwing out the web.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it's complete.
It's not.
Oh, and you know why? It's because the pinky isn't extended like the other, like it usually is.
Right, but then because that means that is he pointing to something? Why is it? First of all, why is it overhand as opposed to underhand?
Fair point.
Yep. I said
the only time that it's been overhand and he's shot webs is when he had the black suit and his hand came, and it came out the back of his fist.
Yep. Like I said, I'll hang in there. I'll keep reading it. You know, the only reason I'm going to read it is probably because of Ben. Eventually in there, because Ben is now the new Venom.
Chasm.
Ben is the new Venom.
Oh, that's still funny. The name they gave him. Chasm.
You know, Chasm. Because they're kicking themselves because they called Gwen Stacy Ghost Spider. And that probably would have been the perfect name for this new version of Ben.
Still, Chasm. Of all the names you can come up with, Chasm. I'm like, I mean, did we already run through all the Venom names? Toxin, Poison, Riot. I'm like, but Chasm.
Well, he's technically not a symbiote, so he doesn't have to have that kind of a name.
But still, hello, my name is Chasm. What are you? What are you, a British street sweeper? It's like that doesn't even sound right. It's like, I am not Spider-Man. I am in between. You were in between trying to figure out a name. It's like, is this a work in progress? Is it a brand deal? What is it?
You ain't kidding. But I just hope they do right by Janine. I want to see where she folds in and all this. Because if he's hooking up with Madeline Pryor, I got to find out what happens to Janine, because like Janine's the one thing holding Ben together.
That would be interesting.
Not to mention, that's going to be a fun fight between Ben and Havoc.
Oh, I can see that. That would be a great fight.
Honorable mentions for comics this week. We got a couple Tokusatsu comics. No, I don't have the covers pulled up.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Power Rangers Universe number 5 comes out. That is penultimate issue for that miniseries exploring Super Power Ranger lore that Shadow will be going nuts over.
Oh yeah.
Power Rangers versus Godzilla number 2 came out. More disrespectful fights for the Power Rangers, but the artwork is still disrespectful for us.
Oh, I gotta tell Demetrius this. So Demetrius, I wish we had this pulled up real quick. But imagine if Godzilla and the Dragonzord ever fought. And the Dragonzord got completely disrespected. Like,
well, it's the king of the monsters.
I know, but it's like
it's the king of the monsters. You can't.
The look on
it's the king of the monsters.
The look on Tommy's face was priceless.
Oh no, my favorite was the look on Godzilla's face. Like, really? Another Mecha Godzilla?
He called the Dragonzord, and the Dragonzord was like, "What about him? You do?" It's like this. I just want to see Godzilla come out. Go see Rodan about me. I just want to see that one time.
Oh no, the best part about it, and I will spoil this, is this is taking place during a version of Destroy All Monsters. So it is Planet X doing a lot of this stuff. And the Power Rangers do meet up with Rita. It's like, what is that? And she goes like, oh no, I didn't. That is not one of mine. That is a creation of beauty that I could never hope to make. So what does Planet X do? Just calls down Gigan, and Gigan disrespects the Megazord. It just like gets his hook hands in it and just like, we need to hug.
Jesus.
And then you know what Gigan's like in the chest.
Yeah.
Megazord did not like that.
God bless. Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for the comment.
Oh no, we got one more. Rogue Sun 3.
Wait, say that one more time.
Because it's Rogue Sun 3.
Oh, they came out. Damn. Okay, good.
Yeah, Rogue Sun 3 came out. So Demetrius, since you know you are reading comics, Image is starting to do their own Toku universe.
Okay.
Where they have like their own certain heroes. So like there's a series called Radiant Black, which is kind of like their Power Rangers. There's a series called Inferno Girl Red, which is kind of like their Precure series. Not Precure would be a bad analogy, but just like Power Rangers, they're all female. Magical Sentai Girl. And then we have Radiant Black or Rogue Sun, which is their Metal Hero series.
Okay. I like Rogue, but I do like Rogue Sun. I do like that.
So Rogue Sun, we finally do get to find out who's the one that hired said dude to kill Dad.
Oh, don't tell me.
Mm-mm. I'm not. You got to read it.
I got to read that one because that's what I'm invested in, because the son was like, "What the fuck? You gave it to him?" Oh, that son snapped so hard. I was like, "Yep," and we found our villain. We have found our villain.
It was good. It's just I felt like if I was going to replace any book, it probably would have been Robin or the Rogue Sun, but like the reveal of Respawn kind of warranted it, and the other books like needed to be in.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Now, other than that, that's all I got to read. Of course, we can find all these at Rick's Comic City. Please show up next weekend. It's Free Comic Book Day. I'll be there as Mr. Knight.
Nice.
Because I always suffer when I do cosplays. I'll be in a 3-piece suit and probably
bring plenty of water. Bring plenty of water. Is this guy? I mean, I've seen it, and it's actually I've seen the whole get up, and it looks awesome. But I also know it's gonna be hot it's gonna be hot because we live in Tennessee. So it's gonna be hot all next week, including our weekend. So it's like, dude,
I'll be okay. I've done I've done Sandman Mystery Theater, Sandman in 90-degree weather, so I'll be fine.
Damn. I'll give you that.
I think I'm going to Cyclops next week for Comic Book Day here.
Nice.
I'm gonna get this repainted, this visor, because this one actually is an upgrade from the other one that I've got. So
nice.
It'll be dope.
I like that more people are nicer to Cyclops these days.
Well, I
he
mean,
deserves the respect.
he
That
He's
man
been
is.
for a long time, and then all different X-Men happened,
put some
and then
respect.
he became respectable again.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, he did finally tell Wolverine off, but anyway, but yes, but definitely shout out to Rick's Comic Book City. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, please check them out. They have 3 locations: Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Donaldson for all your comic book needs. And of course, support your local comic book stores wherever you may be. If you are unable to get to a comic book store, understand that libraries still do carry the most up-to-date comics and manga and anime. With the price of $1 for a library comic book, you can still get your comic book fix on. So, like I said, support your local comic book stores if you can. Support your local libraries if you can, because trust me, you will not. All the good stuff can be found in libraries and places like that. Because well, that's a whole other story I'm not going to get into. But as we're wrapping this up, I do want to thank Demetrius for being on here. Being the first time on here, we certainly appreciate, sir. Is there anything you want to let the folks know about what's upcoming, where you're going to be at, and things of that nature?
Well, the next thing is Free Comic Book Day next week. If you're in the Maryland area, Greenbelt Plaza, I am partnered up with Third Eye Comics as well as the Prince George's Memorial Library System, and superhero support cosplayers. And cosplayers is not spelled as cosplayers; it's called like cause players.
Ah,
Um, and also the space, free art for all of us have come together to sponsor and to host a free comic book day at the mall at Greenbelt Plaza from 1 to 4 in Greenbelt Mall. So if you all are there, I'll be there with my son, and I still have to make his cosplay. I got to make his cosplays like, potty trainable, accessible,
I understand.
because,
I understand.
so um what I've got going on for him, I think I'm going to make him like a small like havoc, just like shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I got like the iron down on. I'll make it work. I'll make it work.
Oh,
But yeah, there's that, and then the very next thing I'm doing is June 4th. I'll be at Motor City Black Age Comic Con, which is in Detroit, Michigan, and my son will be there with me as well, and we'll be there for that day, and then as of right now, I am still preparing to go to San Diego Comic-Con as press. So
you
I'll
lucky
be
duck.
this will be the second year I've gone as press, and the first year was amazing. So I'm hoping to be there a little bit longer. I'm going to get there hopefully for the actual press day Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
to see all of what I can see, to buy all that I want to buy before the lines get there,
Right.
and then I'll be like, there till Sunday. But yeah, San Diego Comic-Con is like the biggest thing that I think I'm doing until hopefully Mattel does what it needs to do before summertime.
I'm not gonna lie. If they give you the route that I hope they're gonna give you, dude, I'm just gonna just be in awe. I'm just gonna be in awe from
Yeah,
just from a fan standpoint. I'm gonna be in awe of that.
because I've talked to other people before, and they're like, dude, this doesn't happen. A major corporation like Mattel does not, engage with like the fans in the way that they've actually engaged with you. Actually, I've got to send that pitch to my friend. But yeah, yeah, it's surreal
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they are still considering. Like, I think we're going on week 8 now of them considering this pitch that I've sent to them,
Nice.
and I'm thinking, they could have said no within a week. They could have said no in 2 weeks, but they haven't said anything at all in 8. So that means that they're really considering things.
Oh well,
So
we're definitely rooting for you on that because I'm rooting for everybody to win, especially in that to have that type of that big deal. But then again, you have your own Funko Pop, so
thing is like the you can get. I'm not trying to diminish it, but Funkos, are customizable as all hell. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So, you got customizers out there that can get it done, but it's it's awesome that people wanted to buy it.
yeah,
That's
that's
what's
what I'm saying.
awesome.
That's what
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
that's
fact that
what's awesome.
but like we said before, representation
Mhm.
is perception. Perception is everything. So I definitely get that. That's why I'm hoping, like I said, for that to work out for you, dude. I'll be cheerleading. I don't mind about being cheerleading. I will be the biggest cheerleader among the bunch to wish for you for success on that. But definitely thank you for being on. We certainly appreciate that, Joe.
I appreciate the invite.
Oh no, you're more than welcome, dude. It's an honor to have you on, especially because the simple fact of, like I said, your accolades and what you're able to do and what you're able to accomplish. Hey, it's been our honor, man. So definitely thank you for being on. But I know
you're
Joe,
a super fun chill dude. We want you back.
Yeah, because now that we know you're a Trekkie and that now that we know that you're a Trekkie, you're good. You're good.
It's not even that he's a Trekkie. He understands half the references I say.
That is also true. But Joe, what do you got as far as the schedule this week, sir?
I will, since I got my workout schedule back in motion. Monday, Elden Ring. Tuesday, Pretty Soldier Sailor Gundam, so Relayer. So Elden Ring on Twitch, Relayer on YouTube, Wednesday workout, Thursday workout. Friday, next Friday, I will be at my theater cosplaying with the Nashville Avengers and Cosplay Collective at Bellevue AMC. I'll be there as Mr. Knight.
Wait, which theater for Friday?
Bellevue 12.
Damn. Okay.
You just gotta come over to Bellevue. I keep telling you, as soon as the movie's out, we can either hit Honey Fire Barbecue or the pizza place directly in front of it.
Yeah, but I got three nephews I already got tickets for.
There's an ice cream place literally within 5 feet from the theater.
Don't tell them that. They can hear us.
That's not my fault.
They can hear us, man.
I will also be at Rick's Comic City, as you heard, in cosplay as Mr. Knight. We will be there. I believe Jason Marsden will be there, voice of Max and Max Goof and other various comic characters. Most will be now Bart Allen on Young Justice. For me, Garrett from Extreme Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
He has already signed my Proton Pack. I don't have to bring that with me. I will also be at Starbase in Nashville because Time Force Red Jason Font will be in at that one doing Free Comic Day. So I'm going to be over there, and then that Saturday night, I will be back at the Bellevue AMC for night 2 of cosplaying there. I will again be Mr. Knight, or maybe Scarlet Spider, one of the two.
Okay,
and for no reason, Starman.
I was gonna say you're gonna. I was wondering if you're gonna do Starman again, but yes, Joe can definitely find his Twitch stream at Joe at Italian last name, and of course his YouTube is Total Justice Gaming, as you can see there,
which does have new content. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That's on me. You get a tripod so I can start taking camera videos again. So now we have deck profiles for Cardfight Vanguard and what was the other game I play? Oh, UFS.
Nice.
Or not UFS. Okay. It's called something else. UVS, Universal Fighting System, because now we're not just fighting games. Now we're anime. So the new My Hero Academia card game thing, which I believe also has a pre-release this weekend for set 2. So set 2 is season 2.
Okay.
So that means the villains are starting to be introduced, and it's just called Crimson Rampage. I've already picked out the tech girl that designs all the suits. She'll be my next deck after Soundjack.
Nice.
So we got deck profiles there for Cardfight Vanguard. I'll be doing things just across the spectrum from that game. So premium deck profiles, Vieira deck profiles, overdressed deck profiles. I mean, whatever I have built. I have a lot of that set. Mostly Tachikaze, which I know doesn't mean anything to you. Picture Zoids. Decks based around Zoids. Big meaty dinos eating other meaty dinos.
I know. I still have a few. I still have a few Zoid models I'm still putting together back on my table behind me. So yeah, I can't wait to finish those. But no, that's cool. But thank you for that, Joe. And of course, yours truly. I myself can be found BlackFox447 on Instagram. You can definitely follow me there. I usually post reviews of movies, television, video games, and gym stuff because I do a couple push-ups. Not as much push-ups as Demetrius does, but I'm about to work my way up to his level. But again, in 2022, it's all about promoting positivity as well as and motivating others because we have had a rough couple of years. So hopefully the move is that if you can inspire someone, show kindness, just be freaking decent. Just because it takes zero energy to be nice, it takes 100% energy to be a dick. At the same time, show a little bit of kindness because you don't know for still fact of the matter what folks are going through. Everybody's fighting their own war, their own problems, what have you. You do not know if a smile, just saying hello, or just being polite can change somebody's life immensely. So again, if you have the ability to change somebody's life, whether it's a day, a minute, hour, a lifetime, go ahead and do so. The world could use more random acts of kindness. Aside from that, guys, of course, and I do not have the ticker up, so this has been a wonderful show. So the ticker that you see at the bottom, you can copy and paste that into your browser. Will take you to the link tree that we have for our YouTube and Facebook groups that can be found off limits. How the fuck we here, and of course, Get Bit. Of course, shout out to Ari and Gee present Geek Salad for allowing us to share our podcast on their page. You can definitely find them on Facebook as well as YouTube. Also, shout out to my boy Vaughn as he's coming back very soon. Either my website on Facebook, Big BZ on socials, where you can see all of his podcasts from there. With that being said, we're pretty much going to call it a night here, guys. So, any last words before we wrap it up?
No, just be a decent person. You're right.
Yeah, just be nice. I mean, I'm probably one of the most petty person besides Joe, but Joe has his moments of petty. I just always used to be on that 100% switch. But like I said, you just being nice, just being decent. That's what gets us all. So, but again, thank you, Demetrius, for being on. I cannot tell you how much it was an honor to have you with us on this show. We hope to have you back on. I know, like I said, you're a busy man, and we hope to have you on down the road because I still want to see how this Mattel deal comes out, and I just want to be able to get a signed He-Man once it's done. But but that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. If you're watching this on the playback, please comment if it's live. We still want to know your opinions on everything we talked about. Aside from that, guys, we will catch you again on the Get Bit podcast. Same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. I've been Will. That's been Joe. That's been our guest, Demetrius. You guys have a good night. We are out. Peace.
Power Extreme.